1 year after Batman's defeat of Ra's al Ghul, Gotham's crime is running scared. The new DA, Harvey Dent, along with Gordon and Batman, are closing in on the city's core of organized crime by targeting their cash. Desperate, the mob turns to the Joker, a violent and brilliant criminal who so far has eluded capture by both sides. As our trio of heroes pushes forward with their war on crime, they finally realize how deadly a foe the Joker is, and also how far he's capable of pushing them to their limits. Welcome to another feature presentation of Midnight Double Feature, and on this episode, we'll be covering 2008's The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Midnight Double Feature. Thank you so much for joining us on this particular episode. This is a very special one where we're covering the 2008 masterpiece directed by Christopher Nolan, The Dark Knight. This is a big one. To anyone who listens to this podcast, this is a huge episode for us. For some reason, we decided to cover Heat and The Dark Knight in quick succession. I'm not sure why, but with me is my co-host Colin Duncan. How you doing, Colin?
I'm doing good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm nervous for this one, not gonna lie.
Well, why? I don't know why. There's nothing to be nervous about.
That's good.
I love. Well, you know what a lot of that is based on, by the way, is Tom Waits. You know who Tom Waits is?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. You were born in like 2004, I think. So I was trying to remember.
I'm 16 years old.
Tom Waits. Yeah. I didn't know if you knew who Tom Waits was. But there's a great interview where it's like, dude, that's the Joker the whole time.
It's perfect. Yeah. Look, guys, like I said, this might be an episode where we might get some new listeners. Maybe I'm just being very hopeful. I don't know. But I'm just going to go ahead and run through our socials and where you can listen to us or where you can find us, contact us, whatever. You can find us, our main group on Facebook called The After Party. It's a great place where our community comes together. It's called The After Party, Midnight Double Feature. We're on Twitter, which is at MDF Pod, Instagram at Midnight Double Feature. And please remember to rate and review us on iTunes if you do like this episode. And for you guys who want to go that extra mile, we do have a Patreon where you can become a member of the Green Room. And the Green Room is basically just our special place for our lovely, lovely Green Room members who, donate $5 a month. There's no other fee, tier, or anything like that. You don't get any extra bonuses for paying extra. It's just $5 a month, and you get a bonus episode every 2 weeks. So that's 2 extra episodes from us here at Midnight Double Feature. We actually just got done recording our thoughts on Matt Reeves' The Batman. So that will be available by the time this episode is out for the bonus members. And if you do want to sign up to the Green Room, it's patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature, or you can just head to the show notes on whatever app you're listening to. So The Dark Knight, like I said, this is a huge episode for us, and I think this has been looming in the background for a very long time. This is absolutely one of those list movies, the list that does not exist of movies that we're very, very afraid to touch because it's just so they're so culturally relevant. They've permeated throughout pop culture. Everyone knows these movies. Other podcasts have covered them better. We're not, we're coming at this. What is it? 2008, 2022, 14 years after the release of this movie. And everyone on the planet has talked about this movie to death. So what can we offer that's different? To be honest, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. We're going to find out over the next couple hours or so. But hopefully, we do provide something that is a little bit different to some other, podcasts or to some other shows or other conversations that you might have heard on this. But this is absolutely a seminal film of mine growing up. But Colin, I want to get your thoughts on this, your history with this particular movie, The Dark Knight.
Yeah, well, in 2008, I was graduating high school, and this was everywhere. This was massive. I remember everybody. Because when did this come out? Was this summer of 08?
Yeah, June or July, one of those.
Okay, so yeah, I just graduated high school. because I can remember watching the trailer for this with people in high school, and it was just fucking mind blowing. And nobody had really seen like a shit ton of stuff yet on Heath Ledger's Joker, but I was hearing things. I think they had like a special preview that you got to see the first few minutes of the movie if you went and saw another movie. I can't remember. I might be misremembering that with Batman 89. But I remember just it was pandemonium, and then Heath Ledger died. And the PR marketing campaign was just goddamn everywhere, dude. By the way, this podcast is rated E for explicit. But it was everywhere. You couldn't go down the street without bumping into an "I Believe in Harvey Dent" like bumper sticker or T-shirt. Even in the small smallish like southern town that I grew up in, I mean, it was still massive. It was absolutely huge. And everybody I know had like a "Why So Serious" or "I Believe in Harvey Dent." Like everybody had a Batman T-shirt. Now, obviously, I don't think anything's ever going to match the Batmania of like Batman 89. But I think that one thing that has like, for better and for worse, cemented this movie in its place for pop culture history is the death of Heath Ledger. And I think that some people forget exactly how much his death has like affected this film. And it's kind of left this like Brandon Lee taste in a lot of people's mouths when it comes to their final project being probably their best work ever, you know, and they kind of ended up not dying because of it, but dying in the middle of all of this shit. You know, well, I guess Heath Ledger was pretty much done. I don't think they were shooting anything else, but there were definitely plans for a third one with him for sure. So I remember just, it was everywhere and it was just all consuming, and I was totally down for it. I saw this four times in theaters. I think it's the most I've ever seen a movie in theaters. And I can remember, you know, just man, I know I just keep repeating myself, but it's just the pandemonium. It was the buzz. I remember watching the movie, and obviously I hadn't seen Heat yet. I'd never seen anything like this before. Crime films were like not on my radar. So my unoriginal 18-year-old ass was probably like, oh, there's never been a movie made like that before. You know, it's like, dude, there's like Heat and like all these great fucking crime films that this thing is kind of like drawing off of. But at the same time, realizing that it was just like, dude, this is just not. I remember my dad being like, yeah, you know, that first one was good, but Dark Knight was just kind of weird. And I was like, yeah, this ain't your dad's Batman. You know, like this is now becoming something else, especially with Heath Ledger. And for better and for worse, it made a lot of stuff grittier for grittier sake. You know, I feel like often imitated, rarely duplicated type thing. And Christopher Nolan is not doing gritty just for gritty's sake. I think that, you know, he has a very tactical kind of like mindset when it comes to a lot of this stuff. You know, he wants it as close to the real thing, you know, but visually stimulating at the same time. So I really enjoy this movie. I know, you know, it's not without its faults, you know, but honestly, I really have to think about the faults to like find them. I have to really do some like, not saying they're not there, and I'm not saying they're hard to find. I'm just saying that I really have to sit down and think. You know, it's not something that, for me, a plot hole is something when it's like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, and I didn't even have to think about it. Like, that's fucking dumb. You know, I'm paying attention to even Alfred Hitchcock was like, fuck the story. He was like, you know, it's all about like the audience reaction to it. And I was like, well, I don't agree with that. I do think that, you know, this movie juggles a lot of shit really well. I think it juggles a lot of characters. I think it juggles a lot of themes, but at the same time ends on an unbelievable note. And I kind of wish they'd never done The Dark Knight Rises, but I do love Tom Hardy's Bane, and I do love kind of the unraveling of all of this, you know, and the third one is just,
that was literally just what I was about to say. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't love that third movie. I think it's Christopher Nolan's
one of his weaker
competent
films.
Movie.
Yeah, especially the choreography.
Totally. But I love the unraveling of the Dent act.
Yeah.
Like that is my favorite thing about that
so
movie.
Good. So fucking good. That if I have to take that movie existing to get that to exist, and it's like, yeah, that's fine, that's cool. Like, it's
and
not
that
that
shot
bad
of Gary
movie.
Oldman just sitting there, like realizing, oh fuck.
Yes, yeah. But I still enjoy this movie quite a bit. I don't know. I'm just in a different headspace with Batman right now. I just saw Matt Reeves, the Batman. I mean, God, at 11 a.m. Right now, it's like 7. It's like 8 o'clock. So, it hasn't even been 12 hours since I've watched I've watched a Batman movie 3 times in the last 48 hours. So it's like I'm kind of like drunk on Batman right now, but at the same time, I think there is something just kind of enticing about that as well. It's like the way I feel like Darth Maul would give into the dark side is how I feel Batman feels in like a swarm of shadows, and just kind of stepping into that darkness. And I do want to ask you something. You don't have to answer now. If you don't have your answer, that's fine, or just you want to think about it. But one thing I kind of want to start playing on these bigger movies is, what is your favorite shot in the film, especially when it's something that's like has a beautiful cinematic language like this. I think there's a lot of a lot of different contenders for that. I have mine, and it's just something that sticks out to me, and we can come across it when we get there. But just think about that, and if you have it, by all means. But if not, we can wait.
I definitely don't have one off the top of my head right now. I think this movie is full of gorgeous shots. Wally Pfister, who shot this movie, is absolutely incredible and super talented. I definitely have one for the Batman. If you do want to hear my favorite shot, it's in the bonus episode. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to tease it. But yeah, look, where do I begin with this movie? This was, for 7 straight years, my favorite movie of all time. I know it's tough to pick your favorite movie of all time, but
what is it, about every 7 years Nolan puts a movie out? Is that what happens?
No. Because my favorite, like I always, it is tough, obviously, to pick your favorite movie of all time, but I kind of always like having one. That one movie, because I often get asked, what's your favorite movie by people
same here.
Yeah. So like I kind of like always like having one, in the chamber.
I did the same thing, and just for shits and giggles, what mine came out to. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Was probably like a year or 2 or 3 years ago. I finally sat down and really thought about it. I was like, probably The Thing, probably John Carpenter's The Thing. I think is nice. Personally, it's just my favorite movie. It's just, God, it's so good. But sorry, continue.
Yeah. No. I mean, before this, it was Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl. So nice. I mean, that was like the first one that I could remember being like my absolute favorite. Rewatched it on a loop so many times, and then this rolled around, and this took the mantle for like 7 years, and then Sicario rolled around in 2015, and it's still currently my favorite movie. Which, by the way, I guess it's been 7 years since that movie got released, so it's time to update, I guess.
Every 7 years, you just like shed your skin and pick a new one.
I know. I'm like the creeper from Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, like a fucking cicada.
But this movie, I still vividly remember the first time I watched this movie. To anyone who's listening to this in Australia and Sydney, I watched it at Blacktown, which is Cinema 5. Which is currently the biggest screen. Currently the biggest screen in New South Wales. It's still huge, still massive. It's still there. It was the first that cinema had just been built, so it was still nice. Brand spanking new. And I watched it with my dad and my brother. And after months and months of hype, because I was 14 years old, this was heavily in the zeitgeist. Everyone's talking about this movie. The trailers, the viral marketing, why so serious? It's all out there.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So, and this came out after the death of Heath Ledger, so obviously that had, that really colored the release of this movie. And then I watched it, and I remember coming away from this movie as a 14-year-old being extremely, I wouldn't say confused, but not totally knowing how I felt about this movie, because it doesn't follow your standard superhero movie structure. Even at that point in 2008, it didn't really follow that kind of structure of like, the villain presents himself, the Batman. The protagonist ends up fighting the Batman, the villain in this huge giant showdown. That doesn't really happen in this movie. Dark Night of the
Soul, and you come back with a big hero fight, and it's like,
that doesn't really happen in this movie at all. I know the Dark Knight Rises actually does kind of follow that structure a bit more, and Batman Begins certainly does follow that structure a bit more, but this movie doesn't really do that. There is a battle, obviously, between the Batman and the Joker, but it's not this big spectacle-laden thing. that we'd kind of like, gotten to know throughout, the X-Men movies at that point, the Spider-Man movies at that point. I think even Iron Man had come out by this point. This was that year. I think the first Iron Man predated this movie by like a couple months, if I'm not mistaken. But
what a hell of a time in cinemas.
Crazy time. But yeah, like, I didn't know how to totally feel. But then, obviously, as I took some time to digest it, this is a close to perfect movie. Like, this is like not only just a visual standpoint, like how it looks and how it's produced and how it's edited, but the acting is absolutely gorgeous. The story is my most favorite part of this movie. Like people talk about all the time about how, potentially this movie gets overshadowed by the Joker. And yes, Heath Ledger's Joker does loom very large throughout this movie. I think that the story and through line of this movie is really gorgeous. Like, I think it's really very Batman.
Yeah.
Like everything in this movie is like the way where we end up, that ending is incredibly Batman. Like, like let me take the fall for this so Harvey Dent is not, his reputation remains intact. I'll take the heat. I'll take the blame. I'll take, like that's what being a hero is. It's absolutely stunning. And like that's ultimately how we defeat the Joker. You can argue either way that the Joker does win or the Joker doesn't win. But I'd like to think that it's a kind of a combination of both in this movie. Like I think the Joker ultimately, like it is set up to think. Sorry, it is set up to think that maybe he does win, but Batman's final act is.
I mean, it's. I mean,
negates that a little bit.
He definitely does win. I mean, he wins. Like his plan works fine, and now there's all these dead cops. You have, Gordon's kids are almost dead. His wife almost gets killed. All this crazy shit almost happens. And then the only reason the scales get tipped back up is because, the hero does what a hero does best and they sacrifice themselves. But the thing is, I think that it's something that in Bruce's mind just makes so much sense because he's like, I can stop being Batman. I can't stop being like Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? Like he was like you as Gordon and him as Dent. Like he can't just take off his mask and become somebody else and have this be on somebody else's shoulders and him still be the good guy. So it's like I think it's just kind of a no brainer for him. Like, yeah, let's just scapegoat everything into this person who's already a criminal, a vigilante, let's go ahead and scapegoat everything into them. And, it'll kind of, I don't know, because in a way it also kind of jumps the track back to like, why don't we put our faith back in like people that don't have to wear masks? And I think that's a very interesting ending is like the Joker is the cause of all this, like all these people that have come up, not that have been my cause, but like, let's get the only reason I exist because things have gotten so bad. So let's get it so good to where I don't even have to exist anymore. The only way to do that is to just turn me into the bad guy. I think that's so fucking brilliant. I think that's really cool.
It is.
And that ending, man, I just remember everybody just that first couple of times, everybody's like, that's fucking awesome, man. It's really
a 2.5 hour movie that's riveting from start to finish. Like it's like I don't feel the length of this movie. I don't feel bored by it. I mean, there is definitely a peak of this movie. Like it does peak at one point and then it kind of like sort of plateaus. And we'll talk about that when we get into it. But like, I think this is. I mean, what can you say about The Dark Knight that hasn't been said already? What kind of praise can you heap on this movie that hasn't been praised already? You know what I mean? It deserves the respect that it gets. It deserves the praise that it gets. I think this is Christopher Nolan's best movie, without hesitation. I think it's his best movie. I think he's gone for a lot more ambitious things like Interstellar and Inception. And those are great, but I don't feel anything in Inception. I think it's a super cold movie. And I think Interstellar's ending is a little bit wishy-washy.
Yeah.
But I think this is where all the pieces of the puzzle are here in this movie, and they come together so perfectly at the end of this movie. And it's just, everything means something.
The Prestige. I think I'm always going to go with The Prestige. God damn it, I love that movie, man. It's so good. And it's just,
also a perfect movie.
Yeah, it didn't spawn a franchise. No one's tried to remake it. It was at 05 when that came out. It's been almost 20 years. It's just such an underrated movie in his catalog. So yeah, but yeah, I'm super excited to talk about this because this was just everywhere. It was everywhere at an extremely pivotal point in my life. Where I was having to start make some big decisions, and I think that this movie is just kind of one of those things that it felt like at a very it was one of the few times I really felt that something had taken a thing that I loved and made it very adult. Like they had made it, they had tried to kind of speak a language to a lot of people that I think a lot of people watch these movies and be like, wow, I guess that shit can really happen. They're fucking stupid. But there's plenty of people that I feel like walked away thinking like, yeah, a lot of that is plausible at least. It's like, well, not really. But I'm excited to talk about it. And if you guys are still listening at this point, I really appreciate you sticking around. This is going to be a big one. So I'm ready whenever you are.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Let's dive into this. I think this is blockbuster filmmaking at its finest. You've got, we haven't even talked about Nolan's kind of process with this. This is like the first big blockbuster to be shot with IMAX cameras as well. Everything, as much as possible, was done practically. That's just who Christopher Nolan is, and I think that really lends to the tactile feeling of this movie. The fact that you can kind of like pretty much pick up everything and touch it, like it's
right.
We'll talk about Christian Bale. I'm pretty sure we've talked about our favorite Batman and stuff like that in the Batman Begins episode. So we'll talk about it a bit later. So yeah, but let's get into this. Let's get into this incredibly iconic. You know how much I hate that word. I only use it when I really mean it. Incredibly iconic opening. This opening bank heist is, Nolan has name dropped Heat as an inspiration for this movie, and it absolutely does show. You've got the blue steely gloss of this movie as well, but
yeah.
The addition of William Fichtner as well in this movie.
Well, and I love that Heat ends with a bank robbery. It starts with the armored truck job. This begins with a bank job. So this is like, dude, do you think a bank job is a climax? We're going to start our fucking movie with a bank job. I kind of like that. And just the cleverness of it. It's like, one frog jumping over the other one, jumping over the other, them all killing each other, in order. And the guy who's smart enough to figure it out. I love that. I love the guy who's like, yeah, I bet, he told me to kill you,
right.
Or told you to kill me. It's like, damn, it just shows you just how smart the criminal element is in Gotham. But I do love seeing William Fichtner, and I hate that most people, he is the category of know the face, not the name, but he's been in so much shit, and he's like, he always shows up for everything. He's such a good actor.
He's so good, dude. His one moment in this is so memorable. He's just like, here, like, you and your friends are dead. He's so good, man. It's so brilliant. But I love the Joker lying to the guy, like his sort of like teammate, like in an attempt to get him killed. Because like there's no way he didn't know the shots or how many bullets he had left.
Right.
There's no way. But he pops out, absolutely nails that guy.
I think awesome. That the look on William Fichtner's face when he's like, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger. And just William Fichtner's face is so like, oh my God. Like I have looked into the mouth of hell and it is fucking insanity. Like there's something so crazy about it. But also I love the old clown masks and stuff. Like I love vintage Halloween masks and shit. So I thought that was a really nice touch. But it's what an unbelievable way, to start your movie. Again, this would be a climax in a lot of films, and this is how we're kicking it off. That's great. That's ballsy.
Absolutely. In terms of scale, this is tiny. Like, if you look at the whole movie, this is just a small portion of what's happening. but it's absolutely gorgeous. The way it plays out is it's like a symphony.
Yeah.
And you can't not watch it. Like, I haven't even talked about Hans Zimmer's score.
Yeah.
It's a living, breathing character. Like, this score in this movie, he's taken his score from Batman Begins, which was which is awesome in its own right. Was that Hans Zimmer or was that James Newton Howard in Batman Begins?
I don't know, because I don't know Batman Begins is that well. I know the Dark Knight Rises soundtrack pretty well.
Yes.
Because that's got that real like chanting kind of vibe. But my favorite Hans Zimmer track in any of these, it's got to be Dark Knight Rises, when they do that bum 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 bum. I'm like, oh god, that's so good. He and Nolan were meant for each other.
Yes,
like it's like Burton and Depp to me now. It's like synonymous, And Hans Zimmer's been fucking working way longer than Christopher Nolan has, and it's just crazy that like now, until recently, I feel like, I don't want to say recently, but he worked a lot longer than he needed to become a household name. You know what I mean? And now I feel like most people know most people who are even somewhat in touch with movies know who Zimmer is.
Zimmer did the score for The Lion King back in 1993.
Right.
Like, it's great. But, dude, talk about, household name. I mean, my dad turns to me during the screening of Matt Reeves' The Batman, and he goes, "Oh my god, the music is so good. Is this Hans Zimmer?"
That's what I'm saying, man. He's become like that default like composer for movies everybody knows.
I really want him to win the Oscar for Dune, because the score for Dune is absolutely outstanding. But but look, man, a lot of people have issues with some of the stuff that plays out in this movie, like this, him kind of like exiting the bank and joining the line of buses. Sure, okay, whatever.
I mean, if you really want to get, real world about it, no, it probably doesn't really make any sense. Would the person behind him would be like, "What the hell?" and would put on their brakes and stop, and But at the same time, it's like, it's just, I don't know. It's nothing to get hung up on. It's just like your first little, your first little taste of what the Joker is capable of. I think it's more or less an example of how precise his timing is with things, that he is like on a fucking clock all the time. Like the Joker is always working to some kind of like invisible rhythm. It's great.
Yes, if this opening scene tells you everything, or tells you something, it's that yes, the Joker is a meticulous planner, and that he works alone as well. Like, he is not really one to work with people that he to bring in an inner circle, so to speak. Everyone to him is expendable. This opening scene absolutely 100% tells you that. So look, this scene kind of like pivots into this sort of, I guess, a little bit of montage where we're introduced to the MCU, the Major Crimes Unit. We're introduced to Wirtz. We're introduced to Ramirez. There's if you notice, like, again, attention to detail is what Nolan does. You'll notice, like, there's like a little coin jar for Ramirez as sort of mother for a hospital bills, which again comes into play much later. They don't know, they don't have a clue who the Batman is. They have no idea that it's Bruce Wayne. And then we kind of like launch into this car park scene, which is, again, phenomenal in its own right? This is the Chechen meeting up with Jonathan Crane, aka the Scarecrow. I love this Scarecrow sort of through line throughout these three movies.
Yes, like, me too.
Obviously, he had this like giant role in the first one, and he's kind of like become like a 2-bit dealer in this second one. And in the third one, he's kind of like the judge of a kangaroo court.
Right, yeah. I love that. Well, and I love his design. Like, apparently, I don't know who it was who worked with Nolan on Batman Begins, who was just like, no, like, he didn't even want Scarecrow to have a mask. And he's like, dude, he's got to have a mask. I don't want to say the name and be wrong, and I feel like such an asshole. But the design of just the mask and the suit, I love that design. I think that looks fucking incredible. It's like a terror. He's like the guy from The Strangers, the main person from The Strangers, like that. Just a fucking terrifying look. but we've talked about this Russian guy before and Let Me In. He's the coach. He's the coach and Let Me In.
No shit.
Yeah,
That's
we talked
awesome.
about him. Every time he pops up, I really enjoy this guy. But what the hell are they doing? What's the deal going on here? Is he buying drugs from Scarecrow? Like, is he delivering people to Scarecrow? Like, what the hell is going on? I have no idea what this exchange ever is.
So I believe that the Chechen is confronting Scarecrow because his drugs have hurt his clients. He's like, I'm losing business. These are repeat customers. The drugs that he promised the Chechen are more potent than he was expecting, or his customers are more expecting. Rather, that's what I get.
I wonder, so I guess people are actually paying for the fear toxin, or is he Walter White and making meth in there, or like what's going on? I was always like, what the hell is going on here? Why are all these guys here? But it's really just to get everybody here so we can have this badass Batmobile, like loiter and intimidate scene. Right. I love that, man. That's good.
Well, okay, so the Scarecrow says, I told you that my compound will take you places. I never said there'd be places you wanted to go. So yeah, it is... essentially, yes, the Scarecrow's sold the Chechen drugs that the Chechen is not. I guess he underestimated, or his customers underestimated, and now the Chechen is confronting Scarecrow.
Okay.
But this, the arrival of the Batmobile is incredible. I love the idea of fake Batman.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the idea of like. Batman being an inspirational figure, but not for the right reasons, which I guess spoiler alert for the Batman kind of plays into that movie as well.
Well, yeah, that it's. I mean, but that's something going back to 1986 with the Sons of Batman and the Dark Knight Returns. Like that's a big thing. Is that at the spoiler alert in that comic, he basically defeats like a gang leader, and those gang acolytes become sons of Batman, and they get utilized later on. So it is kind of like the ripple effect of what your inspiration can do. But I what's crazy is seeing him in this Batman Begins suit and just realizing like how fucking ridiculous that looks.
Yeah,
like it's like, man,
like
this
a block of wood.
Yeah, like that can't be comfortable, man. Like that's got to be like, because he can't move his neck, and I'm like, why did it take? Batman 89, it took him fucking almost 20 years to figure out how to get somebody to turn their neck. And I think now the suit was so goddamn good, they never did another one. They just left it alone for Dark Knight Rises because they're like, why fix? This is like perfect.
I love the suit. I love the new suit. Sorry. Well, not the new suit. I mean, like the suit that he gets in this and they use for the Dark Knight. It feels so high tech. Like it feels very much in
You're talking about the Begin suit?
No, not the Begin suit. This suit, the Dark Knight suit that he gets from Fox in this movie. I love the ripped abs. It looks a lot more mean and menacing.
I love the short cropped ears, and I also think there's something in Bale's face that's just so naturally snarl like that part of his mouth looks great. Just sticking to he just looks like man. There's just something. I was 18 when I was about to be 18 when this came out. And, so there's a part of me that did grow up. Obviously, Michael Keaton was like my Batman growing up. I was born the year after the first Batman came out. But at the same time, it's like, man, I'm right at that age where Christian Bale is kind of my Batman too. He was kind of like the one that made me like, fuck, man, these movies can be anything now. Like Batman Begins was, it's cool, but it didn't blow my fucking, I didn't blow my load over it. This, I lost my damn mind. I bought a lot of t-shirts and, I thought it was the coolest fucking thing on the planet. But I love the short cropped and the better design of that, than the one from Begins.
A lot more sleek.
The one from Begins looks like a fucking big black dildo. Like it looks like this big girthy, like hard to control thing. It's like, man, that can't be comfortable.
Definitely, especially in the harsh light of this kind of like car park. You really, really notice it. I love the attention to detail, dude. Like as he goes to jump off the building onto the van, before he jumps, you can see on his arm like the blood from where the dog bit him.
Yes,
it's really awesome. Really
watching it 10 minutes ago. Like I'm ahead and like watching that scene. It's the first time I've ever actually noticed that.
Yeah. It's awesome. He leaves these guys here. What's the difference between you and me? I'm not wearing hockey pads. Do we want to get into Bale's voice for
No.
Batman?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't have anything nice to say, and I'm tired. No, no.
It gets worse as it goes along. I think.
I think it's one of the few things that Ben Affleck's Batman has over Bale's. I think it's one of the things that, to me, sounds so cool because he has like the digital thing. You know, it kind of like digifies.
Yeah.
Yes. To me, it's like, dude, like. The thing is, you go out every night and you talk like that. Eventually, there's going to be a board meeting where they're like, how do you vote, Mr. Rain? He's like, I vote yay! You know, it's like, right. His voice is going to be so fucking wrecked. So, like, I love the modulation. You know, it seems like such a more natural thing, you know, to me. And there's moments where it's great when he's doing it and it's real soft and he's just having a few words. It's fine. But, you know, like
as opposed to, where's the trigger?
Dude. His subtle moments with it are great. He's like, you know, in Dark Knight Rises when he's like, you know, I can't remember what he says to Gordon, but he's like, you know, not as comforting as putting your coat over a young boy's shoulders or something. Yes. And I was like, man, that sounds fucking cool.
Such a great moment.
But then it also can kind of ruin lines like, not everything, not yet. You know, like there's times where it's like a little bit much, you know?
No, absolutely. Batman meets with Gordon. Like in this bank vault. I love that. Again, Batman is helping the police, right? Like, you know, providing them with radiated bills, so they can track all the mob's money. Gary Oldman will forever be Gordon to me. Like, there's something about just how soft he is. Like, there's a softness to him. You know what I mean? Like I'm comparing it in my head automatically to Jeffrey Wright because I've just seen the Batman.
Right,
it's out there right now in the zeitgeist, whatever. But there's a softness to the way that Oldman plays Gordon. Like, he's definitely obviously determined to get the Joker, but like the scene at the interrogation, and he's just kind of like, he's like, I'm gonna need to get a cup of coffee. Like he's just so.
He's
personable.
Very mild-mannered, you know. He doesn't lose control of his emotions a lot, and I think.
But when he does, it's great, right? I need to save Dent. Like I just like he's so.
It means a lot when he does it because he doesn't do it very often.
Here we are praising one of my favorite actors of all time, Gary Oldman.
No, he's I mean, God, for God's sakes, like you said, it's Gary Oldman, man. To me, he'll always be the Russian in Air Force One. Probably first thing I saw him in, you know, Dracula, shit like that. But at the same time, I think he does such a great job, and he accesses something, and Jeffrey Wright does this as well in the Batman, but they access something I haven't really felt in Commissioner Gordon since like the animated series. I didn't really feel that with the Burton Schumacher Batman. Commissioner Gordon is basically non-existent. You know, he's kind of like a background character in that. They don't do anything with him at all in any kind of real sense. You know, he's just kind of like the mayor. You know, he's just kind of like a background character. So, you know, it's seeing, you know, a little bit more of Gordon come through in these movies to where he's kind of like the Batman during the day. He's you know, the closest thing that the city has to a legal Batman, I think is really cool. You know, and they're both kind of towing the line together. I think it's just awesome. It's night and day, you know, the difference, but you know, you can't have one without the other. I think that's really cool. It's an interesting,
definitely yin and yang. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Jinx, buy me a Coke. We get this scene between Alfred and Bruce. Now, Michael Caine is Alfred, man. I mean, there's, again, a very sweet nature to him. He's funny when he needs to be funny, but he's serious when he needs to be serious. He provides advice to Bruce when, like, you know, when he needs it. Like here, you know your limits, Master Wayne. And I love what this movie does with identity. You know, not only with the Joker and his mysterious identity, but with Batman. I mean, like, Batman's all about identity and, you know, the fact that the Batman is Bruce Wayne's actual identity more so than Bruce Wayne. Like, you know, I love that, you know, to Bruce, there's no sort of like separation of identity. There's more like, you know, I am the Batman kind of thing.
Right.
You know, whereas like Michael Caine's Alfred is like, you are one and the same person. If you keep going out all day, every day, you're not going to survive this.
again, the yin and yang. It's like Batman and Bruce Wayne are dependent on each other. It's like it's just the same thing we were just talking about. It's like you can't have one without the other. And I get that to an extent, because like working my job, I come home and my fucking I always have new. We call them boo-boos. Like I've shot myself in the hand with a nail gun, and I've had like all these like weird little knickknacks.
Oh, you mean injuries?
Yeah, like injuries from work and shit, and like I got my fucking I picked up a group of studs and my arm got pinched in between two 2x4, like just little things, and I'm like, dude, I feel like Christian Bale in Dark Knight, and I'm sitting there with all these like marks up me and stuff, but again, it's like you have to be careful if you're going to do this, because it's not just like, oh, this is just work and I take this hat off and leave it there. It's like, no, that shit comes home with you, dude.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I get carpal tunnel typing on my keyboard at home. Oh,
that must be nice. That must be nice.
Sometimes I get a draft.
Typing for that fucking... You typing for that fucking women's magazine you work for. Not that there'd be anything wrong with that.
Go.
Don't hurt me.
Mm-hmm. You are now cancelled. So, this scene in the courtroom is by far my least favorite scene in this entire movie.
It's a little awkward.
I don't know what it is.
I think it's Aaron Eckhart's unbelievably slow and stunted surprise to that gun being pulled out. He kind of like stops and then he's like, like I get it, he's probably in shock for a second, but there's something about that scene that's like, I'm not going to sit here and say that Christopher Nolan's forte is not action scenes. For God's sakes, the man made Dunkirk. But at the same time, I don't know if he was quite up to Dunkirk level with action scenes, like up into the, you know what I mean? Like, again, it's not.
I do know what you mean. And that's something that we can talk about, actually, because the hand-to-hand sequences in this movie, in The Dark Knight Rises, and in Begins, I don't love. Like, it's not until we get to the vehicular stuff in these three movies that it's like, oh, fuck, all right, we're like actually doing some really cool shit here. But the hand-to-hand sequences, I don't know if Nolan really kind of like has a handle on, or is just not interested in them.
Dude, I was just about to say, they don't feel bad. They just, they're not great, but they feel like an afterthought. They feel like a back burner. They feel like they're not really something, but it's like, man, that is, for better and for worse, part of essentially who Batman is this violence. And I think that the fight between he and Bane is really fucking cool in Dark Knight Rises. I do like that. I love, especially, not so much Batman, but Bane. The way Bane, like, he grabs those dudes and fucking, like, knees one in the face. Like, he headbutts Batman in the chest. Like, I love the way Bane fights, because that's how I picture Bane from the comic books and stuff. But Batman,
I feel like I can see, in that fight, in the Batman-Bane fight, I feel like I can see the punches missing the actor.
Yeah, it's a little loose. Yeah, they need to tighten it up, and I think that's fair, especially for the background characters. It's like Christopher Nolan should be ashamed of himself that that's in a movie. Those
dude, when we get to
if you don't know what I'm talking about,
at the end,
check that out. It's awful. Oh, I can't. I don't even know what you're talking about now. I'm afraid. But the riot scene in Batman Begins is kind of cool. When all hell breaks loose out in the Barrens and like Jonathan Crane's riding that horse. It's like, that's fucking cool. I like that. So I don't know. I don't think they're his forte, but maybe he's gotten better with them. I haven't seen Dunkirk. I'm sure it's good. But I haven't seen it yet.
Give Dunkirk a watch. Dunkirk it's a super unique movie, especially for Nolan. But I think with this courtroom scene, I think the dialogue as well just doesn't really hit home for me. Like, shouldn't you be out playing golf with the mayor? T-Ops 130. It's okay. All right. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't hate it, but I don't know. I think more so, I don't like the action in the scene, but the dialogue I don't mind. I do think part of this is clever, especially when she's like, "Come on, you're Gotham's DA. If they're not trying to kill you, then you're not doing your job." I was like, "That's fucking great. That's a really good line."
I like that too. This is the first time we see
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yes, yes. Well, no, I was going to say the coin, right? I mean, the very Two-Face coin.
I had
Two-Face
one of
coin.
those.
Oh, did you? The
Oh,
same
hell yeah.
side.
It came
Same
with
side?
my DVD I got for Christmas that year.
Oh, that's
and I got that
badass.
movie. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't
That's
know what
badass.
happened to it. I had one of those actual coins for a long time,
Mhm.
like an actual full dollar that I had, and somebody stole it. It sucked.
That sucks. What do you think about Maggie Gyllenhaal in this? Because she's a point of contention for a lot of people in this, I think.
I don't think she's as bad as I don't think she's as bad as a lot of flack that she gets. I don't think she deserves like all of it. But I do think she has some weak spots. I don't love the. I thought about what you said, Harvey, and my answer is yes. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't love it. But I do love. I do love these scenes. I love when she's talking to Michael Caine, and she was like, "You're right. That's not heroic at all." And it's like, dude, she really brings it. But there's just some moments that I don't think. I wish and just for continuity's sake, not that I wish Katie Holmes was in The Dark Knight. I wish that Maggie Gyllenhaal was in Batman Begins. I think she's a much better actor than Katie Holmes. But she has a very interesting. I don't know, a very interesting take on things when she's not like a very typical actor. I think she always does something interesting with what she's given. But I think she strikes out a couple times in this. I think that's fair.
I've never really been a fan of the Rachel character in both these movies. In Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
So you hate women. Okay.
I do hate women. Yes.
Yes.
If you haven't realized, this podcast is very anti-women.
Yes, absolutely.
We just lost our entire...
We lost about 2% of the people that listen to us.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Maggie Gyllenhaal in this that I can't really put my finger on. I think, I like her ultimately as a piece to move the story forward as a sort of like... as a kind of like a fire starter to get Dent's character going, kind of thing. But I don't know ultimately how I feel about Rachel in this movie. She's kind of like more of a plot device sort of thing. Yeah,
because I wonder. I'm like, we know what Batman, we know what Gordon, we know what Joker, we know what Harvey want, but what does she want? She just want to be with Harvey? Is that it? It's like that's kind of a.
Well, it's not really clear because, she does say I want to be with Harvey, but then. She goes and tells Bruce, you can't tell me to wait for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But then she leaves the letter of I'm gonna be with Harvey. So
right, yeah, it does. She does seem like she gets sidelined a bit in the want department. What is your character doing here? And it does kind of seem like she's just there to get killed. To push. I guess
the moral of the story is don't be a whore or you get blown up by oil drums.
Yeah, don't date DAs and billionaires and you won't die. Right. That should be it.
Right.
And I think that's kind of a big thing too. Is it's not only is it a death that pushes Harvey over the edge, it ends up being a defining loss in Batman's career as well, and in Bruce Wayne's life. This is not like she was my love this movie. Like this is a character from a previous movie. It's kind of a big deal to kill them off at this, but I do feel like she's underutilized.
Yeah, I agree. We get this moment with Gordon and Dent. Now, this is interesting because Dent knows or suspects very strongly that Gordon's working with the Batman, right? Save it. I want to meet him, right? Because he's like, look, you're using lightly irradiated bills. That's pretty fancy for a city cop. Gordon says, I don't trust anyone. And Dent makes it very clear that no one in MCU is meant to be trusted. But I love the point that Gordon makes, right? Like if I hadn't been working with the people that you investigated while you're at Internal Affairs, I'd be working alone. Right. I love this whole idea of corruption of police in the city. This is very much a Batman thing, but this was, I think, the first time that really I was sort of introduced to the fact that cops were corrupt in Gotham City.
Yeah.
There are definitely elements of that in Batman Begins. There's a huge part of that in the first 89 Batman, right? Isn't one of the cops corrupt in that movie.
Yeah.
Eckhart, yeah. But this is the moment where I was like, oh, shit. Like, it's most cops that are corrupt in this movie.
Yeah, and I think that's something they really do kind of miss the boat on, is like showing more of the city itself and kind of showing the people of Gotham, but also showing I think Batman Begins does that, because at least they show like the Barrens. They show like the grimy part of like Gotham where a lot of the story is going on. But here, I feel like it's just kind of like Chicago is our playground, everybody stay inside kind of thing. I feel like they don't really show a lot of like the world around them, or, you know, like you said, like, or, you know, exactly how this is affecting the citizens of Gotham, you know. And I don't know, we don't see any kind of reaction to that, you know. Like maybe every once in a while there's a few, you know, no more dead cops, you know, blah, blah, like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I don't feel like we see enough of the city, you know. That's one of my criticisms about it. It's like, yeah, I wish there was a little bit more world building, you know.
Well, that was my kind of like my next question to you. What do you think about Gotham in this movie? Because it's, again, another point of contention by a lot of fans that this is very, very clearly New York inspired, Chicago inspired. Obviously, they shot in New York. They shot in Pittsburgh as well, I believe. But that might be The Dark Knight Rises. I'm not too sure. But I do like that Matt Reeves' Batman kind of like takes this world, because it's also Chicago, and also makes it a bit more grittier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whereas Heat is to this, Seven is to the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman. Very grimy, very dirty. But yeah, there is something kind of a lot cleaner about these movies. But I do wish they got just a little bit grimier. You know, showed us a little bit more of like the city and stuff.
Right. I love the allusion to the fact that they have a different name for Dent down at MCU. Obviously, will come into play a bit later. But you get a scene at Wayne Enterprises where we're introduced to Lucius Fox, right, played by the great Morgan Freeman. We're introduced to Lau, who is the financier, well, actually, rather the accountant for the mob. But he's going to be a big player. I was actually really surprised by how big of a player he was the first time I watched it. I remember being like, who is this guy? Like, you know, I was like 14 years old. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? It's kind of like, he's a lot. He's a lot in this movie.
Let me ask you this. Do you know what happens to him at the end of this movie?
Doesn't he get burned alive at the top of the stack of the cash pile?
And they don't really draw any attention to it. But yeah, there's like, you can find photos of like a burned set dummy that they had, and it was wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like I think I saw it in like a What Culture video, and they were basically saying that it was like top 10 off-screen deaths or something like that, and that was one of them. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, he did just kind of torch to death on a stack of Benjamins. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, that's wild. I do like this whole thing of like Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is smart. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he is incredibly intelligent. So right here, Fox goes up and questions him, and Bruce Wayne says, "All right, let's cancel the deal. I just wanted to have a close look at his books because I thought that he's bringing his money in illegally." And he was right. His instinct was right because that's what Fox goes up and tells him, which is great. He wants another suit. Well, 3 buttons is a little 90s, Mr. Wayne.
That's good. That's good.
Fox is so good in all 3 of these movies. He's fantastic. But yeah, you want to be able to turn your head, sure, make backing out of the driveway easier. Yeah, it's all good stuff, man. It's all good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We get this dinner scene. This well, they should. They own the place.
Really, Harvey, you're into ballet.
Yes,
so
this
good.
back and forth is good, man. Like, you know, I didn't know Wayne Manor was within the city limits. Well, you know, the Palisades, sure. You should, you know, as the new DA, you should really figure out where your jurisdiction ends.
Yeah,
this
I was like, God, what
back
a
and
dick.
forth, man. It's great. They really kind of like hold their own.
Because we're talking about big dick sweaty power moves. It's like fucking just the most sweatiest, biggest, dickest moves ever. And it's like, good Lord, man. You know, and the women could not look more bored. Like, they're like, okay, this is great.
The prima ballerina for the Bolshoi ballet is just sitting there. She makes a guess as to whether Dent is the Batman, right? I mean, with that chin, definitely, probably.
It's like, she's like, what if Harvey Dent was Batman? He's like, well, I think someone would notice because I fuck her brains out every night. And Bruce is like, just like crying.
I love. Okay,
Harvey Dent's like, I got 2 parents that love me, and I'm fucking this chick. Bruce Wayne just crying his eyes out.
This Oh, actually, you know what? I actually kind of like noticed that this viewing, that courtroom scene where Dent gets the gun pulled on him. I am sure that has to be a reference to the way he gets scarred in the comics, right? Because he gets acid thrown on him in court, right?
Yeah, that's my knowledge of the character. Sure,
that was what happened to him in Batman Forever as well.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I can't say for certain, but that would be really cool if that's what's up.
Let's talk about this Joker scene. The Joker scene. The introduction to this character. I mean, huge, man. This is. Oh, just preceding this, we see that the cops raided the mob banks.
Oh,
they'd already cleaned their money
out.
out. Yes, they'd already cleaned their money out. Lau transferred all the money over, and now he's absconded to Hong Kong. Right, that's how the police aren't going to get him.
And as for the television's plan, I always love that part, the way he actually does the little box. It's like so Pulp Fiction. I fucking love it, dude.
Him walking in doing the laugh, right?
I mean, I was one of those annoying people that really wanted to do a great impression of him and actually tried at it. And this shitty impression I have is the best I can do. But there's something, if you ever want to fall down a rabbit hole, YouTube Joker impressions, there's people out there who fucking kill it, man. You're like, yeah, that's it. Just close your eyes and that's it. I love watching those. But, and I know this sounds so weird, but I love when a new character comes along that is so highly characteristic that there's a really good impression of them to be done, like Anton Chigurh and No Country for Old Men. God. There's a speech pattern. They're very characteristic. They're very vibrant character. But this scene, apparently I heard this took forever to film. I heard this took a long time because of like the special, like the effects and stuff that they do. It's like one of the longest scenes to shoot, because obviously they talk this whole time at the front. He smashes that guy's eye down, then they have this whole thing at the fucking back end as well. It's like, I guess that would take a long time. You got like 30 people in the damn room. Michael Jai White, surprised, dude. I was so surprised when he popped up. Love Michael Jai White. Love that dude.
Yeah, he plays a hothead in this movie, Gamble. And he's man, I can't get over this scene. This is such an incredible scene. Like he commands the screen every time he's on. Like every time he shows up, he just like absolutely is electric. Like, well, you can say whatever adjective you could about this guy. It's already been said, but like, man, holy shit! Like there's a couple of times in this movie when I'm like, okay, over the years, the sheen has kind of like started to come off a little bit, but never in his moments. Never.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and I think there's something, when you're looking, and I'm watching it now, looking at the Joker, and there's something so crazy about, speaking of Brandon Lee, it's kind of got this crow makeup going on, but also his teeth are like yellow, and it's such a small detail that sometimes you kind of miss that shit. I don't know if this is true. That's one thing about a movie like this that gets so big. It's very hard to separate fact from fiction, with like trivia and stuff like that. I have heard that part of his like the mouth lick was apparently to help keep the prosthetic on. I don't know if that's true or not. That probably is made up. I didn't verify that myself, but I think my favorite part of this entire scene is when they're like, "You're crazy." He goes, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." I was like, it's so fucking good.
He's so brilliant, man. He's absolutely brilliant. And you know, I will never forget the day that we found out that he died. Because you know, obviously being Australian, the Australian media covered the hell out of this.
Mm-hmm.
It was everywhere. It was inescapable. If you'd never heard of Batman or The Dark Knight or the Joker, you would have heard about Heath Ledger. This was this was huge. He played Ned Kelly. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ned Kelly. Ned Kelly was a famous Australian bushranger. He was a criminal back in the mid 1800s, I want to say. But there was a movie called Ned Kelly, and Heath Ledger played him. He was very well known in Australia for playing him. He'd obviously been in 10 Things I Hate About You, which is a huge casting for him. He was in Knight's Tale, Casanova, The Talented Mr. Ripley. Maybe not. No, I don't think so. Brokeback.
I know he did that movie. When he died, I think Johnny Depp and
The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, I think is what it was called.
That thing, which was very interesting. But I remember all this weird shit was coming out. And he was like hanging out with like Mary Kate or Ashley Olsen. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, is that true? I was like, that is so weird, you know. And I'm not like, I don't read that shit. As far as I know, he died from like just taking a mix of medication and accidental overdose. But you know, the thing is, the really shitty thing is when people, you know, when this came out, you know, he had died, and then, obviously it's just this unbelievable, some of the best acting I feel like most people had seen in decades. And you're sitting there watching it, and people are going, oh, that's what killed him. And it's like, man, that is so problematic. That's I hate to use that millennial buzzword, but I'm like, I don't like that, because it kind of glorifies this aspect of it. Even Jack Nicholson, they were like, oh, Heath Ledger died, you know, blah blah, and he was like, I warned him. And I was like, dude, that's not you don't fucking know that guy, don't say that shit, you know. That's I don't know, that's dumb. But I feel like there was like both good and bad. There is this kind of legacy that goes along with it, and I feel like Heath Ledger would be like, well, yeah, I died, but like I left one of the biggest characters in the fucking history of film like on that reel. It's like, yeah, you did. And it's like, but you fucking died, you know. I feel like I'd rather have you here and keep doing more shit, you know.
Yeah, and like Heath is on record for absolutely enjoying this performance. Like he says, this is a quote from an interview, he says, quote, Joker so far is definitely the most fun I've had with any character. He's just out of control. He has no empathy. He's a sociopath, psychotic clown. And I'm just thoroughly enjoying it. Like, like there's no element of like him going too far, or, you know, in his mind, he definitely was method, you know, like in between takes and stuff like that. Absolutely. For sure. But no part of this character really, I don't think, went home with him and, you know, absolutely, you know, inspired him to kill himself. I don't think any of that happened, you know.
But I feel like that was like a weird narrative of like it was the role that killed him. And I was like, this is so dumb.
Yes.
Like, please don't do this. This is so stupid.
For sure. I don't think the studio, you know, ever put that out there. I think it was just the internet doing the internet things, or, you know, whatever. But I remember people hating this casting initially. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And the first thing people said was, hey, Michael Keaton, man. Like, that was the thing that kind of, like, yeah, I guess that's true. You know, and
Jack
I feel like
the same. Oh, Michael Keaton. Oh, yes. Everyone hating. Yes. Yeah.
Unconventional. Same thing with Robert Pattinson now. I feel like people were kind of, but he started doing like, what is it? Good Time and The Lighthouse. And he's really kind of come back.
He started doing these big showy indie movies, but yeah. This sequence, dude, I just love. He's got the bombs underneath his jacket, like it's very, very Joker-esque, right?
Oh, he's got a way out.
Him leaving the card that just says Joker. Here's my card. Like it's.
I like to picture Gamble sitting behind a telephone, like there's no number on it, like I'm trying to call it and be like, oh, can't find it.
Yeah, it's so good, man. But like, I just love how he just walks in and proposes killing the Batman, making it sound so simple. It's awesome.
Right.
Um, but yeah, so you get a meeting between Harvey Dent, the Batman, and Gordon on this rooftop. We need Lau back. I love that, like that Gordon and Dent just kind of get into it, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's leaks in your office, like it's good stuff. And Batman just says, "Hey, he's got no jurisdiction in Shanghai. I'll bring him back. Oh, Hong Kong,
Right.
Shanghai. Sorry.
Right. Saying exactly what the Joker said. You know, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll find him and make him squeal. You know, that's
Absolutely.
exactly what's going down.
For sure." He goes to visit Fox. He shows him the updated suit. I love the gauntlet. You know, the spikes coming out of the gauntlet. That's going to come in later. Nolan is incredibly precise as a director. Like, you know, he needs to show you that these things are operational and functional, or if we just see them for the first time in the final act, then we're going to be like, what the fuck? So here we are. Here they are. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, this leads into like a little bit of a montage, right? We need an alibi. He sets sail with the entire Russian ballet, much to the chagrin of Harvey Dent and Rachel as they go and see the opera. Like, what a great little like fuck you, like, you know what I mean? Like, like Bruce Wayne was like, "Oh yeah, this way I've got an alibi, and I can fucking stick it to Harvey Dent as well."
Right. Yeah, you won't be getting laid tonight. Not after I ruin that evening.
Yeah, he's still laid pipe. Come on, dude.
Yeah, probably.
This scene with Gamble, right, and the Joker. I remember there being a little bit of conversation, a little bit of backlash about this moment of I guess the Joker playing dead, because it's Heath Ledger in kind of like a thing playing dead.
Oh yeah, that's dumb. But yeah, I do remember that they were talking about something about him in a body bag. And I was like, okay, well, you know, just what are you gonna do? It's a movie,
right? But yeah, why so serious, right? This is the first of 2 or 3 false stories that the Joker gives about his origin, which is great. Which I love, dude. I love that we don't know anything about this man,
right?
Even at the end of the movie. By the time the movie ends, we've got no clue as to what he is. We've got no idea. He's not some kind of like ex-veteran or something like that who's just gone crazy. He's not someone who was touched as a child. We don't know how the world made this man, and there are an infinite number of possibilities. And it just absolutely adds to the mystery of who this guy is.
Yeah, well, I've even heard there's like fan theories that Joker is Thomas Wayne Jr. He's the first kid of Thomas and Martha Wayne. I was like, that's actually kind of fucking cool.
Kill me.
Dude,
Kill me.
I don't subscribe to them. Like, you can you can read it and go, yeah, that's fucking stupid. But like, sure, chase your tail though. That's fun. You know, it's like whatever. Like,
not everything needs to be connected though. I don't need that. It just makes this world feel so much smaller.
I think for me, it's just fun seeing like how people, you know, even if it is bullshit, it's still creative in some ways. At least people are trying to come up with something. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. At least you're doing something there, you know, versus just kind of like, because that way you get some really cool stories out of shit like that. People, you know, whoever would have thought there would be a Batman where it's like Thomas Wayne, you know, and he shoots people with guns and shit. And it's like, yeah, like that's cool. Somebody kind of thought of that idea, you know, and just kind of what if this was Batman in another universe? I don't know. I like that shit.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you're a simpleton.
Yeah, I love fan theories. They're fun. They're interesting to read sometimes.
Now, our operation is small, but there's a lot of potential for aggressive expansion.
Yeah,
I love the way he says aggressive, dude.
Aggressive expansion.
It's so good. He fucking makes these poor bastards fight to the death.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's wild. And then we go to Shanghai. We spend a lot of time in Shanghai.
Yeah, we do. We have this meeting. The incident. Ah, yes, incidentally, very funny. But it's one of those things where like And when I'm 17 watching this, I just go, business, 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 papers, papers, papers. Like, I don't really care, and just like, yeah, whatever. We're here to get loud. That's all we're really here for, you know?
Well, this is one of the things about these Nolan movies is that there needs to be a reasoning for everything. Like, there needs to be logical, real world explanation for things. So, Lucius Fox having to be here because of the meeting that we saw earlier, and him having to come over personally to let him down and say we're going to cancel the deal rather than over a phone call. It's things that need to happen. Sure, it's not appealing to children, but I guess like logically it makes sense because like I can see this happening, right? Like if you're a giant international law firm and you're making a deal with another international law firm, a phone call would absolutely suffice, but an email won't. You know what I mean? Like if you cancel a giant deal, I guess that's the kind of logic. That's what he's trying to pull off here. But yeah, he leaves the phone downstairs, which obviously is acts as an EMP. Which knocks out all the lighting. This is Christian Bale standing on this building.
I was wondering that. So that's pretty cool. This is what I wish Batman looked like all the time. Like I wish he ditched the cape. Dude, like he's kind of got that Arkham Knight vibe like going on, but there's something about I do like the hump thing on his back, but I just love Batman with like no cape. I've just always thought that looks so much cooler now. But I was wondering that, but I laugh my ass off seeing how far down the windows are he's shooting with that gun. It's like I saw that. And like I fucking laughed out loud,
dude. It's crazy.
He needs a carrier pigeon to carry the sniper to the spot to shoot. Like I was like, Jesus Christ, that's far away.
Yeah, it's wild. Ultimately, I do like this scene though. Like I like the jump off the building. The sort of like silence as he just flutters through the air. You just hear the sound of the cape as he just rippling through the wind. And then, he breaks through the window. He gets into this fist fight, grabs Lau, and ultimately skyhooks out of there, which is wild, which is awesome.
Yes, I love the skyhook thing. I think that is really badass. This is one of my favorite action scenes in the movie. Just him busting through that glass and fucking guys up. It ends so differently from a lot of Batman things where it's just him good and he just gets sucked out of the fucking room. I was like, that's so cool. And it's one of the few Batman scenes that doesn't happen in Gotham. This is him in China. It's like, that's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. He kind of fits in weirdly in this environment. I guess it's still just a huge metropolitan city. But there's something I would love to see Batman in fucking Japan. Fuck it up like Yakuza and shit. Like, oh, that'd be so fucking cool.
Dude, that'd be awesome. Like Ronin styles from Endgame or something.
Yeah.
So Lau is now back in Gotham. I love please deliver to James Gordon. But
yes.
I love him pretty much spilling the secrets, right? I'm their accountant, blah, blah, blah. They all trust me. Now, this is this lost me here. Because there is no way. So she leaves the room, she goes to Dent and she goes to Gordon, and Gordon's like, okay, we got him. We can charge him with RICO. And he has to explain to Gordon, who is a lieutenant in the police, what RICO is.
Yeah, this is for the audience.
I'm just like, come on, this is it's lazy. It's lazy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's so much that because are you talking about when Maggie Gyllenhaal is like, yes. When he turns around, he's like, yeah, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I at first I was like, well, maybe it's something she's just saying, open into the room. And I was like, no, he literally is turning and talking to Gordon. And it's like, yeah, I guess it's, but how many people would be like, yeah, I know what a RICO, I know what a RICO thing is. It's like, no, yeah, you're probably going to have someone explain, explain that. But yeah, it's not handled greatly, I guess, that he has to explain to the head of the major crimes unit what a RICO charge is.
That's pretty wild. Hey, can the Chechen finish his lunch before you arrest him? Because
yeah, right. Hey, can Khabib finish his pancakes? Can you fuck off for a second?
Dude's got bears to fight, man.
Yeah, Jesus.
246 counts of fraud, 87 counts of conspiracy murder, 527 counts of obstruction of justice. How do you plead? And I just love the cut to just all the lawyers talking at once, man. It's good stuff.
I love the shot of Eric Roberts and the Russian. Just like Eric Roberts is so tired, and the Russian's like,
yes. Yeah. Judge Cirillo notices a Joker card in her files, right? Which is obviously noteworthy. This is Nestor Carbonell as the mayor.
I like this guy a lot. He was in a sitcom I watched growing up. I can't remember the name of it. Not Lost, but it was like an actual like laugh track sitcom. I can't remember the name of it though, but I remember him very well.
He pops up a lot. He pops up a lot in a lot of things. He's got a unique look about him. That he's not wearing eyeliner. That's a natural look for him.
Right. Yeah, that's a big thing that I've heard. And I hate how he just gets like taken out and rises. You know, he just gets like blown up, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of anticlimactic. Yeah, because I always liked his character.
I like him too. But yeah, think about what you can do with 6 months of clean street, or 18 months of clean streets. Like he obviously likes the sound of that. This jump scare is incredible.
Yes, hell yeah, this scared the shit out of me in the theater.
It's so unexpected, and Zimmer's like score is fantastic. But yeah, like you think that this is a great moment it's a great win, right? For the city of Gotham. You know, the mob's, being dealt with. You know, we might have 18 months of clean streets, and this is the moment where, like, no. The Joker is about to announce himself because, he pretty much takes out this guy, this copycat, in a pretty gruesome death, man. Like, I don't know, like this scene, and I mean, you're talking about his video interrogation. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I have never felt something like that in a theater before.
Yes. Neither.
Like it didn't quite feel like you were watching a snuff film, but it was like, hey, they're in a butcher shop, which is just fucking ominous enough. But it's you look at me,
yes, and the shaking of the camera, like this whole kind of like.
It sounds like somebody's just twisting a leather wallet the whole time. Yeah. You know, it's got
the
that
second time he says,
to it.
"Look at me, dude." The
dude,
look at me.
I remember being on one of the times I saw it. This girl and I were watching it, and I remember being in there, and I had already seen it maybe my second or third time, and I remember this part was coming up, and I just kind of looked over. And the second that happened, I remember seeing her, like, their eyes got real big. She's like, holy shit. And it was, man, it was disturbing, especially the laugh, the yellow teeth at the end. It's like, dude, I feel like he smells like fucking Rorschach does in Watchmen. You know, he's got to smell like shit.
You want to hear something crazy? There's two of these in the movie, and Heath Ledger directed both of them.
Yes, I remember that. That's cool. Yeah.
Pretty awesome, man. I mean, talk about, obviously Nolan like supervised the shoots and whatever, but talk about, a director having faith in his actor to be able to direct these. Very similarly, and I don't want to talk too much about the Batman in this episode, but something came out just recently of Paul Dano recording and directing something similar for the Batman. Mm-hmm. One of those videos in that movie, Dano directed, and he did over 200 takes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It sounds like some David Fincher shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's worked with David Fincher before. No, he's worked with Denis Villeneuve.
No, yeah.
But like, he's like, maybe I can come through the side frame, maybe I can come through the bottom. I don't know which way to do this. But like, I love the idea of like giving the actor the power to direct these little clips. It's awesome. This, Batman must take off his mask. Every day he doesn't, people will die. Oh, man of my word. It's brilliant.
It's rough.
It's brilliant. Yeah, so we get to this fundraiser, which is kind of like intercut with sequences of Gordon investigating the threat on Commissioner Loeb and Judge Cirillo.
Mm-hmm.
This Bruce arriving with 3 women attached to us.
Right.
Talk about big dick move. Yeah.
Well, and I love that's something that they kind of focus on in this trilogy that's not really focused on in a lot of any of the other media. Is like he's got to keep up appearances, and like the whole like you don't watch the news much, do you, Mr. Wayne? Like that whole thing. It's just he's kept that facade up so well,
Yes, I'm glad you used the word facade because in all three movies, it feels like he doesn't love doing this. Like like even in that first one when he buys their restaurant and the women are swimming in that fish tank or whatever. Afterwards, he talks to Rachel and like he's got a bit of a guilty look on his face. And then after this, when he talks to Rachel, he's like, I meant every word. It was just kind of like a facade in front of these like rich, hoity-toity friends of the Wayne family, which again speaks very much to what I was talking about with the identity thing, the identity issues that are all over this movie.
Right. God, can we get to Loeb getting poisoned? Because that is fucking gnarly.
This is one of my favorite stretches in the entire movie. This whole so Gordon goes wait, and then Loeb gets poisoned, and then Cirillo opens up that envelope and it just says up. She looks up, she gets blown to hell. The Joker cards are all scattered everywhere. But my favorite part is Zimmer's score, man. The score is just dun 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 dun, and it starts off so soft because Dent's talking to Rachel. He's she's like, this is the most scared you've been. You've faced down criminals and whatever in court, and I love Wayne just walking up and just grabbing Dent from behind. It's awesome. They've come for him. And the score goes from soft to peak when the car blows up to ending right when the Joker shoots his shotgun. And it's just great editing, man. It's great. It's a great sequence in this movie.
Yeah, I like all of this. Even the part where she's like, "Oh, thank God you have a panic room," and he just like dips right into it, and she's like, "Oh, what the fuck!" Like, I love that part. That cracks me the fuck up.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Joker's taken command. We are tonight's entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. He's so good. He had so much more left to give. He was so young.
This guy that he's talking to, that you remind me of my father. Like, that guy is in all the Batman movies, I'm pretty sure. He's like a senator or something. Like, I don't know much about him. I think he's been in every Batman movie except for the Batman, I guess.
Yeah, we've talked about this. I think we brought it up on on the Begins episode, and I can't remember what significance this man has. The one who says, "We're not afraid of thugs like you." That's the guy you're talking about, right? Yeah.
Exactly. I have no idea.
Yeah. He grabs Rachel and basically launches into this another mysterious origin story, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one day they carve her face and we have no money for surgeries. He's so good at getting into your personal space and breaking your, I guess, your sense of comfort. It's brilliant, man. She looks genuinely uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. I just imagine the smell, let alone this guy being that close.
What do you reckon this guy smells like?
Oh man, I don't know.
Do you reckon he's a cigarette guy? I don't think he's a cigarette guy. I think he's just got...
No, yeah, I imagine he lives next to some kind of like pork processing plant. And there's just this awful like sulfur kind of like pork smell that comes out of there. It's the only thing I can think of. Very specific smell that I've smelled a couple of times around where I grew up, and it is fucking awful. But the... I like a lot of this scene. The thing I can't, you got a little fight in you. I like that. He's like, then you're going to love me. I was like, Jesus, dude.
Where did you come from?
For once, I just want to see Batman come in and know just no quippy line or anything. Just come in and just start like, whoa, bam, and just fucking knock 3 teeth out of somebody's head like a sucker punch, dude. Just walk up, be like, because I think that'd be hilarious. Be like, God, you're supposed to say a funny line and warn us first. Like, why would I do that? That give you tactical advantage. Like, it just, I don't know. That cracks me up. And it's not even that great of a line, you know?
No, it's not that great of a line. This is also not one of my favorite action scenes either. This is what I think of when I talk about the hand-to-hand sequences in Nolan's movies being a bit shoddy. Don't love this. It's a little, but I do love the Joker throwing her out the window. Very poor choice of words.
Yes, yeah. I love the knife boot. I love that.
Yes.
That's
very
so
Joker,
in character,
right?
You know.
Yeah.
After, because I don't want to jump too far ahead, but after this, you know, obviously he saves Rachel. But the next scene we see Gordon talking with, I don't know the character's name. He's the one who's like, you know, and you killed 6 of my friends. And he's like, 6. That guy is the Arbiter from Halo 4.
Shit.
Like, that I couldn't, you know, it's like, I stand before you
just Halo 4?
Just Halo 4. Because the Arbiter, or not the Arbiter, the Didact. I'm sorry.
Oh, right.
The Arbiter is Keith David. Keith David.
Yes.
But the Didact, which is just an unbelievable, great vocal performance in Halo 4. But I can't believe that's the same guy. I was like, holy shit, that's amazing.
Let's talk about this moment when Alfred tells Bruce about the tangerine in the forest at Rangoon. This is a solid moment because, like, at this point, I don't think we've really been introduced to a villain like the Joker who has no clear motive outside of just kind of causing terror, outside of just causing chaos. Like, this is, obviously he says the line, some men just want to watch the world burn. And this story is such a good kind of like metaphor for telling us about the Joker's headspace or like why he's doing what he's doing, which is nothing, which is actually kind of terrifying. It reminds me of Stu from Scream not having a motive for killing.
Right.
Like, you know, just doing it because other people were doing it. I love this whole idea of, you know, some people just don't love order. Some people just don't love control. Some people just don't love the way things are done in the way that they're done, and they just want to upset the established order. And that's terrifying to me. The fact that there's no discernible motive. Like, you know, this guy's not doing all of this because you were wronged in a particular way. It's just because he just doesn't like it, and he just wants to fuck shit up. That's badass.
Right, yeah. Because you know, it's kind of like in the Dark Knight Returns animated movie, in which we covered, by the way. If you guys are a fan of that, we did the Dark Knight Returns, the one with Peter Weller. But there's a part in it where Gordon's like, yeah, you know, these kids today, like they, you know, it used to be you were after a purse or a wallet, and nowadays they just want to terrorize you, and it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like, yeah, that's way scarier, because it's like, yeah, oh, you have something I want, well, just give it to them and they'll leave you alone. It's like, no, it's you they want. It's like, oh man, that's just it's terrifying.
It reminds me of No Country for Old Men when Ed Tom Bell is like, I don't understand the world anymore. Like, I don't understand this kind of violence. Like, this is not something that we understand. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not logical. Yeah.
Right. It's not a motive that tracks. It's not a motive that goes from A to B to C to D. It's just Z to W to C. Like, you know, it's just these random things that happen, and we don't understand it because we don't understand this guy's mindset. And I think that's really slick. I really love that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I love that, you know, Alfred acknowledges that the mob turned to a man they don't fully understand. You know, they just let off this rabid dog.
Right.
You know,
they just let the genie out of the bottle.
Right. They let the genie out of the bottle because of Batman, because of the police pressure. And you know, it was unintentional, but it's something that happened because of Batman.
Right. Yeah. 100%. And Sorry, because I don't want to jump too far ahead, but you know who we haven't talked about that I do kind of want to talk about?
Go for it.
Just for half a second is Coleman Reese. I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Yes.
But yeah, Coleman, I don't want to forget to talk about him. But if we're not there yet, I don't want to try to steal your ship.
We've met Coleman Reese. He hasn't had his day in the sun yet. He is about to. But essentially what we've had of him right now is him kind of like, going up to Lucius Fox and being like, the numbers are solid. That's pretty much it.
Right. Yeah. That's the only time. And the thing is, he's kind of likable in that first scene. And then he ends up just kind of becoming a shit in the next one. It's like, what the fuck, dude? Where'd you come from?
Right. We get this moment of these two dead. What are these? Cops, security guards, the ones with Harvey Dent. Yeah. Right. But basically, this is the Joker marking the next target being the mayor, and Bruce Wayne. Well, Batman finds the shattered bullet, which he wants to get fingerprints from. This whole it's Batman doing detective things, which is great. I think these movies get criticized quite a bit because we don't see enough of Batman being the world's greatest detective, but here he is doing exactly that. So I don't know. I think those criticisms are kind of unfounded.
I definitely don't think he doesn't detect shit in Batman Begins,
right? Or
Dark Knight Rises, really. And I think there's minimal stuff in here, but it's more like, hey, I have an idea and I'm going to make technology do it, like, like putting together a shattered bullet. Like, that's not fucking possible, but at the same time, what a brilliant mind to come up with that idea if it were plausible, to reform a bullet and get fingerprints off of it. And even the Joker being prepared for that is fucking crazy. Yeah, I just think that's so gnarly.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Like, okay, we can just talk about it. The Joker accomplishes a lot in a very short amount of time, and whether it is or not, doable, that's a whole nother thing. Mm. But I think it's just kind of one of those things where you need to suspend your disbelief a little bit.
I just, anytime I'm like, how would he do that? I'd be like, I feel like the Joker has dirt on anybody and everyone who ever lived. And he's just like, if you don't do this, I'm telling everybody. And then it's like he just manipulates everyone into doing shit. That's all I can think of.
No, totally. They end up not sure if you made it loud enough, sir. He's so good.
Oh yeah, that thing's cool.
Coleman Reese going up to Lucius Fox and attempting to blackmail Bruce Wayne.
That's great.
Fox's response is amazing. Your plan is to blackmail this person? Good luck.
Right. Yeah. Like, imagine someone being like, yeah, I'm going to turn in Elon Musk for being Iron Man. It's like, that's a bad idea. Like, you're gonna get a SpaceX rocket in your ass.
Right. Right. I love Coleman Reese just being like nervous. He's just like, oh well, you can keep that.
Yeah. You keep that.
Fox questions this telecommunications project that Bruce Wayne has going on, right? I wasn't aware we had any government contracts. This is something that will pop up a bit later, but I like that we're planting the seeds now, and then we get the parade sequence, right? This parade sequence is awesome. The staging of this is brilliant. The way it's shot is fantastic. We get Bruce up there investigating this apartment. We get these cops who have been tied together. They're naked. They've had their uniform stolen. I love
naked.
Well, you don't see the good parts. You don't see the good parts.
So I was like, I need to see a bunch of weighing in my Batman movies. I
zoomed in. There was a good bulge.
Yeah.
But I love the timer. Right, the timer is rigged to get the blinds open. So, it's slick, man. I don't know. It's solid. I love that no one's able to hear the gunshot from the cop because of the 21 gun salute going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the score rising up, right? You get the Joker theme, which only is 2 notes, apparently, according to Hans Zimmer. That rising kind of like siren-ish sound.
Yes, yeah. Because I'm watching the scene right when Gordon gets shot. And I think that's when that totally... And what is that actor's name? Polka Dot Man? He's in Prisoners.
David Dastmalchian.
David what?
Dastmalchian.
Dismulchin.
Yeah.
Dismulchin, these nuts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But David Dismulchin, because I remember I've seen him in a few things now. I remember he's like in Bird Box for 5 minutes. And I forgot all about that. But he's a good actor. I enjoy even how little he pops up in here. I enjoyed him,
Yeah, I just love this reveal of the Joker and Dave Dismulcher just kind of hiding in the crowd. Like you pan down from the 21 gun salute. Honor, guard, attention. Oh.
Well, yeah,
awesome.
And I love seeing Joker out of makeup. Like that's gnarly. It's like crazy seeing him what he wild, actually looks like. I think that's really cool. That's a ballsy choice, but like ultimately it ends up being like an extremely iconic variant of like the Joker. Like a rare. It'd be like if it were Joker trading cards, it'd be like a super holographic rare. But like if somebody showed me that image of him with the slits in his mouth, like somebody showed up to a Halloween party and they had the black shit around their eyes and the slits in their mouth and they dress up in that guard outfit with a gun, I'd be like, yeah, I know exactly what that is,
Totally.
If I don't mention this now, I will forget. This is my favorite shot of the movie. I don't know if we're quite there yet, but it's the shot when they, because what's his name? Dent drives off with Dismulchin.
Yes.
But then when they show them going to Gordon's house and his wife is like, yo, you brought this on us. The shot of him sitting there on those steps, just looking at her, and his head just kind of dropped. That's my favorite shot in the whole movie. I think it looks gorgeous. Fucking amazing. And it's like, good God, man.
It's gorgeous.
And I love the context of the scene. It's almost unbearable,
No, totally. No, it's absolutely stunning, man. I love just something that I was really going to add. So David Dismulchin just got cast in Oppenheimer, which is Nolan's next movie, which has a stunning cast, by the way. But I love Dismulchin. So Dismulchin, like, he posted like something on Twitter, which is really nice. He said, 15 years ago, I auditioned for a film in Chicago that would change my life forever. Getting to work with this brilliant director a second time is something I always dreamed about, but never knew was possible. Very grateful to my friends and family who continue to support and believe in me. But yeah, I specifically remember seeing Dismulchin for the first time because he just had a unique look about him. Like,
absolutely.
What a wild look this guy has, man.
I constantly confused him for the guy in the beginning of Inception, the architect who gets taken away. The one who's like, I didn't know he's gonna rub his damn cheek on it.
Yes, that guy.
Yes, that guy who is the patient in the Black Parade music video. He was actually like the character in that. But yeah, David Dismulchin, he's good.
He was in Prisoners. Villeneuve uses him now.
Oh hell yeah,
he was in Dune,
dude. Whew.
Yeah.
He is that is rough. He is rough in Prisoners, man. That's a hard pill to swallow.
So rough, dude. He fucking shoots himself in the face. This is the club scene you were talking about, right? Definitely.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Definitely weird, but kind of badass. I love the way the glass shatters and the way it looks. Like he shatters the glass.
I think they could have done some cool shit where maybe not lit it up so much, Batman actually looks cool on us.
Do you reckon it's just because like we see it from Maroni's point of view and he just looks to the right and there's Batman just on his way?
Well, and it's just weird, just these like pumping fucking bass lines and drums and shit, and it's just him fucking like, wailing on these guys, and people are sipping their martinis and shit, and I'm like, man, this is just weird, like I wish it was a little darker, maybe a little bit seedier.
So Dent gets in touch with Rachel, right? Tells her to go home. She's the next one that's up because of Dismulchin's, I guess, name badge. He was wearing Rachel Dawes, right? That's the next target. Now, this is interesting because this is the scene where we start to finally see Dent become who he's meant to be, right? This is the moment in the alleyway between him and David Dismulchin. And yes, he's never going to kill Dismulchin, right? Like he's flipping the coin.
I guess we see why he has a nickname at MCU. You know,
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. But like, he's definitely going out of the remit of a DA prosecutor, and
a little bit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But this is what a way to get information, right? Like spinning the chamber, telling him there's a bullet in there, and him not knowing that that it's a two-sided coin, right?
Yes. I love that you wouldn't. I want it. It's like, God damn it. All right, calm down, Thomas Jane. It's like all I can think of when I see Aaron Eckhart is fucking Thomas Jane.
All I can see is his bum chin, dude. He's just got such a great bum chin.
Yeah, I mean, it's when I think Aaron Eckhart, it's like, yeah, he's got that. I think he would have been a great Green Arrow, for DC. Yeah, he would have done that very well.
Just quietly, I think Aaron Eckhart is incredibly underrated in this movie. Everyone talks about everyone else but Aaron Eckhart, and I think he's awesome in this, especially when he becomes Two-Face.
Yeah, I think he does a pretty good job for the caliber of actors he's having to share the screen with. He's up there with like some of the heavy hitters of
fucking
all
old
time.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, he holds his own. He's not anything like he's not the Joker. He's not Batman. But he's definitely got something going on for himself.
I think he's awesome in his last scene, dude. When he's just like, lie like I lied. I think it's awesome, man. Mm-hmm. Batman drops Maroney off this ledge. The fall from here won't kill me. And he's like, I'm counting on it. Dude, the sound design of him hitting the ground.
Like the wet crunch. Yeah, it's awful, man.
Right. Just take off that mask, let him come find you. The Joker's a wild dog. This is Maroney kind of like admitting that even we didn't know what we let off the chain, right? We had no idea.
Right.
We re-meet up with Dent and Desmulchin. Again, Desmulchin, like the way he looks up at him and he's kind of like shuddering. He's got that like thing in his face or he's just like absolutely terrified. Talk about, we talked about in Spider-Man that one teacher, the one who would whisper like this. Like,
Right, yeah.
That guy, talk about one actor reading a little bit part and being like, I'm going to go for broke.
Yeah, the folks at home are going to write about this one.
Right. And that's Desmulchin in this movie.
Yeah, in a good way, because I think he sells.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't mean it. Because in Spider-Man, the guy was just
that dude's annoying as fuck. that guy talked like he was in a fucking like a library, and I was like, dude, calm down. But yeah, I like for what little he does, but just because he emotes so much with his eyes, that craziness comes across really well.
Absolutely. Did I tell you we used to watch this movie on my birthday every year? No. It was just a tradition that I did with my family. Like on my birthday night, we just used to just watch this movie. It was my favorite movie of all time, so why not?
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, it's a good idea.
This guy's name is Schiff Thomas. He was a former inmate at Arkham Asylum. I love the line of, this is the kind of mind that the Joker attracts. Like, the Joker is kind of like reaching out to these very impressionable, damaged minds to kind of like recruit into his sort of like gang, I guess.
Yeah, the for lack of a better term, the disenchanted, like the rejects and stuff is kind of who he's building up an army of. Especially in Gotham, there's no shortage of people like Thomas Schiff.
Right. This is a conversation that Alfred has with Bruce, and I think this is the conversation that really colors Batman's decision at the end to take the blame. Right? Like, this is the one where Alfred goes, hey, Batman can endure this. Like, Batman can take this. You should get him to take it. Like, this is
right.
Like, this is the conversation that I really believe is factored into the end.
Yeah, well, and even their banter in such a serious moment is unbelievable. Where he was like, "But I did bloody tell you so," and he's like, "I suppose they'll lock me out for being your accomplice." He's like, "Yeah, accomplice. I'm gonna tell them the whole thing was your idea." It's like, it's I don't know. It's not like it's not the funniest thing in the world, but it's like, it's good. It puts a smile on your face,
Right. I love that there's no other recourse other than for the Batman to turn himself in. Like, the Joker is in a very, very short time frame, cornered this hero, this superhero who's been looking after Gotham all these years, and now it's like, okay, we've got no other way forward but for the Batman to reveal himself. That's what everyone's kind of like, I guess, resigned to. And I love...
and it's...
Oh, no, sorry, go on.
Well, it's crazy. They killed like one guy, and everyone's like, "Nope, that's it. We're not doing this anymore." And it's like, dude, this guy made your city streets
publicly.
Yeah, right. And it's like, yeah, like you said, we've been happy to let him clean things up until now, and now because somebody tells us to bend the knee, we bend the knee. Like, what if he does something like this again, and we're expected to bend the knee? It's like we're just going to give in to this, every time. It's an interesting position, to be in.
For sure. And Dent takes the blame, right? Ruining his reputation as Gotham's White Knight. And this is, I guess, do you think there's a point in this movie where the Joker kind of like, because he says he doesn't scheme, he doesn't plan, but I think he kind of does.
Yeah, he definitely does, because at the end, Joker's reading, I noticed that he's reading off a fucking piece of paper. Like when he's talking to the people on the boat, like he's reading off a speech he has prepared. And I was like, dude, of course you schemed. You have a journal.
Yes,
like you have pen and paper. I call
incredibly
that
unreliable. But like, I think there's a point in this movie where he kind of like switches targets. Like, I think there's a point in this movie where he decides to go after Dent's reputation as the White Knight to kind of like show everyone that he is corruptible. He's not the incorruptible person that everyone is relying on him to be.
Yeah, I think that's just what's the theme of this movie is like, how far can you push a good man? Like how far can you push like a good person, and expect them to still be, have the same kind of like moral code. Like I love, one of my favorite lines of this movie is, we tried to be decent men in an indecent time. And it's like, damn, that's fucking great. And his delivery of it is stellar. I'd say it's probably my favorite Aaron Eckhart line.
No, for sure.
But yeah, this is all great, and I love that we actually get to swap, and we're on Aaron Eckhart for a good minute. Like he's kind of becomes like our main character for a hot second.
He does, and I love that Bruce actually was going to step up, right? Because when he says take the Batman into custody, Bruce was actually going to do that, much to the surprise of like Dent actually, like him, when Dent steps up, which is crazy. I mean, like that's not really something that's in this character's sort of like wheelhouse, but I guess that's shown the growth of Bruce Wayne throughout these two movies so far, like that he was going to take the fall.
Right. Yeah. I kind of thought this was going to be an I Am Spartacus thing where everybody starts standing up saying, I'm Batman, I'm Batman, I'm Batman. Like I thought it was going to end up being something like that. But I mean, then you don't get this fucking amazing, because once they get Dent, they take him and they're driving him out of there. Not to jump too far ahead again, but my favorite death in this movie is the truck driver blowing his horn and the cop's like, hey buddy, wait, like everybody. It's like, oh fuck, man. I remember that's the moment I saw this in theater and I went,
no one talks about this guy. No one talks about this moment, but it is how quick and sudden.
Yes,
it's done.
You would shoot a cop point blank in the face with a shotgun on the street and wouldn't even think twice about it. Like that is what separates Joker from so many people.
It's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. But look, yeah, we are kind of jumping ahead because we're going to talk about like briefly this moment where Rachel says goodbye to Harvey Dent. You make your own luck. Obviously, he's flipped the coin a few times in this movie, but now we've seen that it is a double-headed. Oh, sorry, the same. What is it? Double-headed coin? Same?
I would say double-headed coin. That's fair. Fucking roll it. Own it. Double-headed coin.
And what we're going to do right now is take a break because I got to take a piss. If you haven't noticed, this is going to be a big bitch. So
yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, let's go grab a drink and stretch our legs. Stretch our legs
before a big moment in this movie. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be right back with more of The Dark Knight. Please don't go anywhere. And we'll see you after the break.
Hey, everybody, jumping in here at the middle to talk to you about a few things that we've got going on here at Midnight Double Feature. I want to let you know of a few things that we have besides our main feed here. We also have a podcast called Bad Crystal. It's a Breaking Bad podcast. Now, I guess the gimmick to our show is that I have never seen Breaking Bad. Zoheb has seen it multiple times, and he kind of leads me through episode by episode, and he kind of lets me take a guess at what's going to happen, and you kind of get to if you haven't seen the show for yourself, you can watch them one at a time. If you have, you can kind of see it for the first time again. So it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a journey. But again, that's called Bad Crystal, a Breaking Bad podcast, and we're getting pretty far into it so far. But we also have that, and we have our Patreon as well, don't we, Zoab?
Yes, we do. For you Bad Crystal listeners as well, I'm just going to go ahead and provide an update. We are hard at work on Season 3. And we should have Season 3 out hopefully soon and start dropping those every 2 weeks. But yeah, in the background, we are hard at work. So rest assured, Season 3 is on the way. But yeah, in terms of our Patreon, our bonus episodes, or the Green Room as we like to call it, we have a number of people who are gracious enough to donate $5 a month to us to keep the lights on here at Midnight Double Feature, as I like to say, and in return you get bonus episodes, but not only that, you can have a say on what you want to hear. So in terms of movie recommendations or specific topics or anything like that, you can always just shoot us a message or send us a line, and send us a suggestion of what you guys want to listen to. You can do that by signing up to Patreon and becoming a member of the Green Room. It's patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature. The link is also in the show notes for you as well. We thank you to all the patrons. We thank all the patrons. We thank all the patrons for supporting the show so far. There's 41 bonus episodes up there right now since we kicked it off. I think early last year. I can't remember. But there's quite a few. Yeah, there's quite a lot of content up on there, which is great because and some of my favorite episodes of the podcast are up there. We did the movie You Were Never Really Here with Joaquin Phoenix, which was awesome. And Paranormal Activity, that's on there, and Freddy vs. Jason, which we had a lot of fun with. So if you guys want to listen to that, head over to patreon.com/Midnight Double Feature. But that's enough rambling from us for now. Let's get right back into our episode on The Dark Knight. What do you say, Colin?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight Double Feature. We are freshly squeezed, as we like to say, right after our breaks, and we're diving into the second half of our coverage of The Dark Knight. Now, where we left off was pretty big because we're about to jump into the car chase or the assault that the Joker takes up in an effort to kill what he thinks is the Batman, aka Harvey Dent. Let's talk about this, man. This is huge.
This is like it's like Fury Road in a metropolitan area. I love the truck with Slaughter written on it. I love the guy who's who we don't know is Gordon, but the guy who's with him, he's like, oh, okay, that's not good. Like, that guy is so necessary for this scene.
He is bordering on annoying for me. Bordering. He doesn't cross the line, but he's bordering.
Oh man, I love it because he only does it a couple. I think any more than I'd be like, all right, shut up, dude. But it's just it's like, when did the Joker get like some dirt on the truckers union? Because he's got all these guys running around in these like big ass trucks doing shit. And I love actually getting to see the Batmobile really become, like, everyone's always like, man, that thing's like a tank. And it's like, no, it's literally like a tank now. He's like pancaking fucking cars and flipping over, garbage trucks and shit and taking full on rocket hits. It's like, good Lord, man. You couldn't ask for a more durable vehicle,
It's fantastic. And I love the tension building up to this, right? I mean, like, because they're anticipating something's going to happen. But I love like the overhead shots, of Chicago as they're just driving through the helicopter. But and like at one point there's no sound. It's just that score from Zimmer. That
Yeah.
it's brilliant. It's such a great like, okay guys, get ready because some shit's about to go down moment. But yeah, this is awesome, man. This entire sequence. I love the truck just slamming, just T-boning that SWAT van into the river.
Yeah.
Apparently a miniature as well. This is a lot of miniature work that's happening here.
I thought so because when the Batmobile comes through that wall, I was like, that's got to be a miniature, man.
Yeah,
like there's no way. But that's another one of my favorite shots is the way that the way it crashes through. But when is it in this one when the kids are staring out the window going pew, pew,
and the cars start the Batpod when he gets the Batpod.
Yes, that's visually what some of my favorite parts of this.
It's awesome.
But, oh man, this is so good.
I will never forget thinking in the theater. Okay, so when the Joker slides open the door to the truck and he's like, trying to rip open the SWAT van, I'll never forget like his kind of like escalation of weaponry. So he goes from the automatic pistol to the shotgun to the RPG.
Yeah.
I just love like, if this guy had a fucking turret on the side, he'd probably use that as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's skipped a few steps between shotgun and RPG, but yeah, like,
no, yeah, totally.
There's a few classes you gotta get the burst rifle, then you get the fully automatic.
You gotta go from ballistic knife to single fire pistol to automatic
then
pistol.
You get the tomahawk, and then from the tomahawk you gotta go to the crossbow.
Yeah, you go from to automatic pistol to shotgun to semi-automatic rifle to automatic rifle to I don't know,
ray gun.
Yeah, ray gun. Yes, there we go.
One of my favorite little moments in this, rack 'em up.
Yes.
I love that. I don't know why.
I love now there's a Batman.
Yes. I can't get over that shot of when the kids are blowing up, and then the way Batman comes through the smoke of those blowing up cars is so fucking good.
Yeah, I will never forget the first time I saw the Batpod just come out of the Batmobile. I remember going to school the next day and telling all my friends about it. I'm like, oh my god, man, that part was so sick. Because like I remember in the theater, like having to squint, like to see how the Batpod was kind of like rearranging itself to get out of the Batmobile. Like there's that side profile shot, and you see the metal plates move a little bit. I love the wheel turning first, like before anything happens. Oh. What a great moment, man. What a great moment. And then the truck flip. The truck flip is a real stunt that they did in the streets of Chicago.
Yeah, I've seen, you can watch on YouTube, there's some people that are like up way on top of those buildings filming that on like cell phones and shit. And I mean, you can obviously see like the hydraulic, the steam
pneumatic
from the hydraulics and shit. Yeah, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't ruin anything for me. The fact that they even did it practically just is commendable in the first place. So I'm fine with it.
Right.
And they do a great job. And follow that up with the bike reversal up the wall. I remember, I don't know why, it's like I was sitting there watching this one of the times I saw it with a group of friends, and a friend of Danny and mine that I've mentioned before in here, Marsalis. I knew he always geeked out on like motorcycle shit and stuff like that. And when he went up that wall and like turned around in midair and landed back down, I just instinctively looked over to Marsalis and saw him geek the fuck out, dude. Like,
that's awesome.
It was fucking awesome. And for reference, this guy's like 6'6" and he's fucking jacked with like Predator dreadlocks. He's a big ass dude. I was like,
so
oh
cool.
Man, I fucking laughed my ass off, man.
Yeah,
but,
I think there's something about this character, this Batman character, that really kind of like makes any no matter what kind of person you are, you could be the hardest, steeliest motherfucker out there and still be like, man, the Batman is just something awesome,
Right, yeah, 100%. It appeals to so many people on so many different levels.
Totally. Dude, the Joker crawling out of the truck, right? He uses his gun to prop himself up, but he trips and he fires a few shots at the street. Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good, man. But yeah, this is I mean, you can't overhype this scene enough, man. Like, it's just so fucking good. Come on, I want you to hit me. Come on. And you just hear
Yeah.
like Zimmer's score is just ramping up and ramping up and ramping up until it hits just a crescendo. And you know that Batman wants to hit him as much as he could, but he can't, right? He can't kill this guy. You can't break his number one rule.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love the genius of when he comes off the bike, the shock plates on his neck. Somebody tried to take his mask off, and I was like, damn, that's fucking cool. I really enjoy just little things like that. You know, just make me appreciate that character so much more.
I also love
what did you think the first time
baiting, like kind of like getting his henchman to do it first. He's just like waiting. He's like, all right, because I bet you he like suspects that like Batman has like some kind of like booby trap. So he's like, let me wait for the henchman.
Yeah,
to try.
Let the crash test dummies go.
Right.
What did you think the first time seeing Gordon alive again?
Totally surprised.
Like this twist.
Totally surprised.
Yeah. I watched an interesting. I feel like an asshole because I don't have the credit for. I don't have the person's name, but it was interesting. Yeah, I definitely Yarwajit. But the video essay was about how this twist adds like nothing to this movie, and I don't necessarily think that that's true. I don't think it necessarily hurts anything either if you remove it from the movie or put it back in. Really, I just think it's for just almost dramatic effect, but also making sure that his family is protected as well. It does kind of like make sense to an extent. But you get why in Dark Knight Rises, it's like, yeah, she took the kids and left. It's like, yeah, I don't blame you. Like, you've been through a lot of shit.
I don't know if I fully agree with that. I think it really kind of speaks volumes of how much Gordon doesn't trust his coworkers and colleagues.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
representative of like his state of trust.
Like the fact that he had to fake his own death to play it pretty close to the chest, I think really kind of like highlights the fact that he just couldn't trust anyone. I think that's a good move.
Well, that's like Fury and what is that? What is that Winter Soldier? The one where Fury fakes his death or whatever.
Yep. The Winter Soldier. One thing that I picked up on a recent watch was when Ramirez puts Rachel in the car with Wirtz. The camera lingers on her. She's clearly uncomfortable.
I've always enjoyed that. Yeah,
it's a good move. But yeah, the Joker's at MCU, right, locked up, and I'll never forget this shot of like all the knives being laid out. This was in the first trailer. It was one of the first like footage you see of the Joker. Him just sitting there. And just kind of like taking it all in, nothing in his pockets but knives and lint. We don't know who this guy is. His backstory is completely a mystery. No education, just like no alias. Like what the fuck is this person, man? Like he's just sitting here in like his clothing is like specifically tailored, like it's custom, no labels. Like what? Yeah,
it's like he's such a mystery and without any defining characteristics besides just the name, to really pin on him. You can talk about, the color of his clothes and this and that, but you can't really get into like specifics. It makes him more like elemental,
right.
It makes him seem less human.
I'll never forget.
Like a force of nature.
Yes, I'll never forget, like at the end when he's like, this is what happens when an immovable object meets an unstoppable force. Because what a way to describe both of them. You know what I mean? Like, what a way to describe these two larger-than-life characters. Apparently, the clapping was improvised.
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know if that was movie myth or what, but I have heard that.
I'm gonna underline that with I don't know if that's movie myth either. That's just all I've heard. But yeah, Commissioner Gordon, congratulations, taking the big job. Finally, after a movie and a half, becoming the iconic character that we all come to know and love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Interrogation scene. Is this the best scene in the movie?
It's pretty goddamn good. I think as far as dialogue, I think it is some of the best dialogue in the movie. I absolutely love that. The whole idea of Joker realizing, I mean, whatever he's kind of calling it. He's like, yeah, things are never going to go back to normal now. Like, you have raised the stakes of everything, and you've shown like what can become of people. And I think that Joker is kind of like, he's a response to, I guess what Batman is doing. And, he's basically kind of doing the same thing that he's doing, but he's the anti of it. He's just the antithesis of everything Batman is. And that's why they're perfect for each other in that way too. But it's so hard to even say he's like, oh, he's the antithesis of Batman, because I still don't know that much about him. He's just all about chaos and stuff. But I don't know. It's such an interesting dynamic between the two of them, and this is some of the best dialogue. When the chips are down, when they don't need you, they'll cast you out. And it's kind of the argument that you get with a lot of Hellboy, and they're like, these humans don't want you. Why don't you come and be a part of the people that you were born to be a part of? It's kind of like, why save a city that could care less about you? It's very like the Thing in Fantastic Four, Ben Grimm. It's kind of like a thing like that. I know that Heath Ledger asked him to hit him in this scene. I don't know if he actually is wailing on him or not.
Yeah, he
movie
is.
Myth, maybe?
No, that's not movie
Okay.
myth. That's legit. So apparently, I'm trying to find the quote. I had it up before, but yeah. So according to Bale, he was slamming himself around, and there were tiled walls inside of that set which were cracked and dented from him hurling himself into them. So yeah,
God damn.
he was actually fully committed for this. But something else that I really love that actually colors who this character is, if we are to, because like to really understand this, like there's some comfort in understanding things, and I think it's important to try and maybe understand this character as much as possible, which is not really super possible. But I love this whole thing that he goes on here about, when the chips are down, these people will eat each other. Like, he is trying to show the darker side of human nature. And like that if I had to underline the objective of the Joker, I think that would be it. To show the darker side of human nature, or to show that humans aren't to be depended on. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, bringing out the worst
Right.
in people. I think that's what this character's motivation is.
Well, yeah, that, and ultimately to destroy people's kind of faith in any
Established system.
Of humanity. To show humans just as like animals, and all this, which there is some argument to be heard on that. The fact that we're just kind of like just the smartest animals, and we kind of wear clothes and have a society and act, but it's like, really, you're fucking animals though. So I think the Joker is just kind of thinking about like, it's fuck your stupid little laws. It's the law of nature. It's jungle law. I think that's something I love most about Joker. I feel like he's just like the king of jungle law.
Mhm.
Like, he's like, eat or be eaten, man. If it can happen, if it's physically possible, it happens.
Right.
Kind of just whatever.
And anyone who's kind of like really set on that ideal is a dangerous individual, because he believes, like he says, he's like, I'm just ahead of the curve. Like, I'm waiting for all of you to catch up with me.
Well, that, and I think he's just one of the, he's like, yeah, just kill Batman. They're like, why don't you just do it? He's like, well, because it's simple. Just kill him. Like, it's not like, oh, we have to do this and do that, and you have to be political and shit. He's like, no, you just go in and fucking slit his throat. It's like, he's just so direct, and that's where the danger comes in of just like, fuck whoever gets hurt in the way of that.
Mm-hmm. I love this highlighting of, you have all of this strength and you have nothing to threaten me with. Like, talk about taking Batman's greatest tool and making it pretty much like a water gun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you can do with it. There's absolutely nothing.
Like, beat me all you want,
Yeah. look at you go. He's so good. His performance. This is in my opinion where his performance is at its peak. Like it's at the zenith. Like he's just so like when Batman punches him for like I think the second or third time and he's on the ground and he just like launches into that laugh. He just oh my god, dude, it's absolutely gorgeous.
I kind of want to talk about his laugh for a minute because when he does start laughing, he'll start off with this like, ooh, but then he goes very quickly. Just like I love. Yes, oh man, that's so good.
It's brilliant, man. It's stunning. This scene is absolutely fantastic. I could watch this on loop for days. But the Joker does tell them where they are. Them being Dent and Rachel.
That is one of my favorite shots of the whole movie. Is him looking up with like that fluorescent light hitting
his hair is like just matted.
250 52nd Street.
And she's at Avenue X at Cicero. So his makeup, you see how it's like obviously smeared at the top.
Right.
That's actually another layer of makeup. So it's not. So he's actually technically got like 4 layers of makeup. Because there's something to do with the paint that they were using, and they just couldn't like let it like sort of like peel off. It had to be like applied all at the same time. So the skin that you're seeing here is actually another makeup layer, which is wild.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I think isn't that what they did with Nicholson in '89 when he wipes the thing?
Yes.
I
and
think
it's another makeup
up.
layer. Yeah.
Oh, it's gotta be uncomfortable.
That's gotta be tough. But I love that this launches into this mini action sequence to save these two. Because the Joker swapped around like very, very devilishly swapped around who the victims were and what location they were. So knowing, I guess the Joker knew that Batman would save his victim, right? Like that was the assumption. He's working off the assumption that Batman is 100% going to save his victim.
Right. Yeah. I think he knows that he's got enough time to get there and to save one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But any more or any less, this doesn't work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So he knows he's at least going to get one of them. And I'm pretty sure, you know, the way you threw yourself after her, he's like, he's going to go for Rachel. So let's swap it up and let's fuck him up. And I think that also buys him some time there at the major crimes unit, you know, because then you know, they're going to be kind of startled by that, you know, a little bit.
Also, I just want to highlight Zimmer's score here as well, as Dent and Rachel are talking to each other, and it's that it's so awesome. But yeah, so Dent knocks over the barrels, gets half of his face on, I guess, wet with oil. I don't know what else fucking.
I don't know what this, some kind of gasoline factory or something, some
kind of flammable substance. So. The Batman ends up, dude, I love, as soon as he kicks open the door, it's like, no, why are you coming for me? No.
Yes.
This is awesome, man. This is so good. And
what do you think of how Two-Face got burned up? Like, what do you think of that?
I like it. It works.
Yeah. I think I prefer the courtroom thing just because I think it's a little bit more dramatic. It's kind of cool, you know, but I don't mind this. It's a little bit more tangible.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, maybe, I think this works better for realistic. This world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Oldman here as well. Mount the curb. He's so good.
Oh, yes.
He's so good.
That's what I'm. It's little lines like that. And in Dark Knight Rises, he's like, it's impossible. He's like, cut over to 5th Street. They're like running across trying to get those trucks in the Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, he's so good. But yeah, man, this is the death of Rachel. This was watching this as a 14-year-old. Had no idea. Absolutely got me. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I mean, to kill off a main character like that.
Also, the obscene number of oil drums. Obscene.
Yeah. Like, we don't even want them to be able to identify your teeth,
right?
You know, like, one of my favorite shots just generally in this area is the shot of, you know, they show the fireman kind of poking around and then they point and it's just like him looking down.
That's
like,
my favorite shot.
Man,
that's my favorite shot.
Okay. That I had that as like a wallpaper for a long time.
Yeah, I think they released a poster of it or something.
And I love him seeing Harvey in the hospital. I'm sorry, Harvey. I like that. Those are the moments I love that voice. I just wish it was like that, but he could just do it really loudly. But there's just something when he gets loud, he just sounds like a fucking idiot.
Before we do get to that, I do want to talk about the Joker's breakout of that MCU. So the Joker's sitting there and he's like talking to this officer and he knows the Joker's an incredible expert at psychological mind games, right? So he knows exactly which buttons to push, and it works. But I love when the Joker's talking and we have this shot of the Joker sitting there, and just behind them is that shard of glass. Like the weapon is right there. It's in the shot. And it's brilliant because he comes out holding him at fucking glass point, I guess.
Yeah, well, it just again using everything around him to like his advantage. It's like the guy's just so resourceful.
This poor fat guy.
Oh man! Oh, he said he was going to take out the whatever and make him fill full of pretty lights. Like, holy shit!
Like Christmas.
It's another Thomas Shiv.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like, at first, I remember being like, why would someone do that? And then I was like, oh, wait, hold on. These guys don't know any better. You know what I mean? Like, their minds are as poisoned, as corrupt as, a dysmulsion, right? So
Right.
But yeah, Lau's gone. I think I might take it back. I think my favorite shot in the movie is the Joker with his head out the window of the car.
It's pretty good. It's just been a little overdone for me, but yes, it is visually.
It's only been overdone because of the legacy of this movie.
Right. Well, and it's so many. There's actually there was a really cool poster that I just got tired of looking at, but it's Starry Night by Van Gogh, but it's like Joker hanging out of the window.
Oh.
But it's like the Starry Night version of it. Actually, looks pretty cool.
I've seen one of the Scream, and it's the Joker, like Heath Ledger's Joker.
That's cool.
Yeah. But yeah, so Wayne. Bruce is obviously beside himself, right? I mean, like, he believes that this is because of him, and I would argue it is, right? I mean, like, an interview that I was listening to with Matt Reeves, and again, here I am talking about the Batman, but it's just unavoidable right now. But Reeves was asked this question of, it's interesting to ask the question of which came first, the chicken or the egg. Like, whether the villains came first or Batman. And I like Matt Reeves has a definitive answer. Matt Reeves 100% believes that Batman came first. Right? So like the villains were born because this guy decided to put on the mask and, decided to go outside and fight crime. And like I think that applies here as well, to be honest.
Is it kind of like you see one kid in your neighborhood with like,
right? Why can't
a moped?
I do that?
Now every kid has a moped or something,
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I can definitely see that, especially. I mean, Batman isn't anything like the Joker, but they're not your typical average Joes. Like they got problems. Right.
You spat in the faces of Gotham's criminals, right? I mean, like, Alfred's always here to rub salt in the wounds.
Yeah.
Gotham,
he's like, hey, you picked it. You picked this fucking fight. Oh, thanks, Alfred. I appreciate it.
I actually really do like that shot of Wayne just sitting there, looking at the mask. And he's just like,
I love it, but at the same time, I want to see like a window washer go by and be like, holy shit, Bruce Wayne is Batman. And he's like live streaming at the same time. And he's just like, everybody look. And he's like, you're sitting right in front of like a huge opening, like in costume.
But also Wayne should have like, eyeshadow around his eyes as well, but it's not there. And like, I mean, this gets into a whole thing about like, Keaton in Return when he takes off the mask and the things aren't there. And then I
never noticed it.
Oh, you never noticed it
in Returns?
I never noticed it in Returns, I think, until you pointed it out in that episode. I can't remember, to be honest, but I like what they do with Pattinson. The fucking it looks awesome.
He's always got the raccoon thing going on.
It looks awesome, yeah. Yeah, in the hospital, right? Dent. This still looks great, I think.
His
half
covering?
face? Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish they had like kept it like that for a while with like the cloth on it and then exposed it later on, like if it were kind of like a bit of a reveal. I think that would be kind of cool. But like, because right away, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't love the digital effects on his face. They even for 2008, they don't look great.
Really?
Like, parts of it.
I thought it looks awesome, man.
I think parts of it look really cool, but there's other parts of it that I'm just like, I don't know, man. I think maybe if it were like a little bit like darker or kept in the shadows a little bit more. But I wish they kept that cloth on a little bit. It was a little bit more of a reveal. I just think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I mean, like, essentially, the Harvey Dent that we've come to know and love has been destroyed, right? The Joker's taken him and turned him into something more sinister, being Two-Face. Yeah, this is rough. I'm just looking at his face right now, like, damn.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right, so the Chechen with the Joker and the money, this insane amount of money.
Yeah, that was another big screensaver for a while. Was Joker sitting in front of that flaming pile of cash?
Yeah.
And I think did we talk about this off air about what happens to Lau?
We literally talked about an hour ago on air.
On the air, okay. I couldn't remember exactly when we talked about it. I was like, wait, did we talk about that before we started recording?
Are you high?
But
not right now.
I mean, 50-50 shot.
You're like, I'm always high. That's a secret, Captain. I'm always high.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, you might want to get high right now. That's the secret, Captain. I'm always high. No, I've been up for like 18 or 19 hours at this point. and I've watched 3 Batman movies in like 36 hours. I'm fucking losing my mind. But shit, I can't remember what in the hell were we talking about?
Oh, the Chechen scene.
Oh, the Chechen, yeah, about Lau getting burned up in that shit, which is just nuts. But the line of they'll never work for a freak like you, a freak. A freak. I think that's so fucking good, man.
Dude, him
such a nice little touch.
Him kind of like announcing his arrival of this town deserves a better class of criminal, and I'm going to give it to them. That's so good, man. It's so good. It's like he's just been sitting on the sidelines this entire time and just like watching these criminals be like, man, I can do it so much better than you.
Right. And again, it's without, what's crazy too is it's without really having to like go in and like have hired muscle and like force people out and have wars and stuff. It's like his is like his is almost like information, like espionage. It's like he just manipulates everybody and into doing what he needs them to do. It's just, oh man, he finds that weakness and exploits it. It's such a good villain.
Absolutely. Immediately after that, he calls into this news network and begins pandemonium of Gotham City, right? If Coleman Reese isn't dead within the next hour, I'll blow up a hospital. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
He obviously doesn't say which hospital, but yeah, I mean, there's quite a few apparently.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts that this guy, it would have been enough for him to pop up even just that one time. But I don't know. I think if you're gonna cut something from this movie, I might cut the second encounter with Coleman Reese. I don't think it really adds anything crazy to the story. I mean, it does kind of add like Joker pandemonium, but this movie's like 2.5 hours long. Like it could be trimmed, I think, a little bit sometimes. I don't mind it. I'm just saying, like, if you take
this entire sort of element.
The element of like Batman and Gordon and Coleman Reese and the cop in the car who tries to kill the guy. I'm like, I don't necessarily really need that.
This is some of my favorite stuff. This is actually some of my favorite stuff.
I love the stuff with Joker, in the hospital with Two-Face. I do love that the fucking car that Bruce Wayne is driving, I think is I can't remember the name of it, but I believe the word it might be Italian, but it's a word for bat. Yeah, it's a word for like bat or something. I can't remember what it is. The type of Lamborghini. I think he's driving a Lamborghini, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I can't remember something like the actual word it is translated in English is bat or something.
That's
I'm gonna
cool.
Google this. Keep talking.
Yeah, I think this is some of my favorite stuff in this entire movie, man. I love Bruce working with Alfred and Alfred providing information as Bruce kind of like identifies police who are in the hospital.
Yes, me too.
That's awesome. I love that shit, and I love Bruce doing kind of Batman things as Bruce Wayne. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love the idea of him kind of like putting himself in harm's way and protecting Reese's car using the Lamborghini. But like, again, like if we are going to use the identity kind of like theme, like here's Bruce Wayne going out as Bruce Wayne, aka his identity, like his secret identity to, you know, protect citizens. And I love that. Like, that's awesome. But I love this cop, this cop Berg, you know, becoming visibly nervous, and because it's kind of understandable, you know, his wife's in the hospital, and you know the Joker so far has made good on all of his claims. Like, nobody has any reason to believe that the Joker is lying about this. So yeah, like at this point in the movie, the Joker's 100% proved himself capable of everything that he's done. So it makes total sense that people are going to try and kill this man to save their loved ones in the hospital.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. You know he's going to deliver.
This scene in the hospital, did Dent not know that was the Joker until he took off his mask?
Right. Yeah, like the only thing I can think is I'm like, yeah, maybe he's on a lot of like, well, no, he's not on pain medication. He's just kind of sweating it out, which has got to be its own personal level of hell. But yeah, at the same time, it's just kind of like, it took you a little too long to figure that out, buddy. Like,
yeah. Oh, you must be some other makeup man. Like, I don't know.
This is actually some of my favorite scenes in the movie, actually. With him talking to nobody panics when things go according to plan, even if the plan is horrifying. And I especially love the whole I'm an agent of chaos, and chaos is fair. It's like, oh man, he's playing this guy's fucking fiddle right now.
No, he totally is. I love him pulling out the gun and just like giving it to him. This is I'm going to need your help with this because I don't know if this fully makes sense to me, this sort of monologue where he talks about blowing up the trucks full of soldiers, no one panics. Doesn't really make sense to me, right? I mean, like, is it the idea of forewarning? Like, you know what I mean? Is it the idea of, like, providing warning that something's going to happen versus something happening spontaneously? Is that the idea?
Well, I wonder if he means like a truck full of soldiers gets blown up, and because it's a war zone or something, then it's okay because it all went according to plan.
Yes.
That's the only thing I can But he's like, why should that just apply? I don't know. That's just my kind of reading on it.
Okay.
I've never really thought about it like that way, but I don't know. That would be my first kind of thought.
Mm-hmm. You live or you die. Now we're talking.
Yeah,
I love it, man.
That's a brave thing you did, Mr. Wayne. What, trying to make the light?
He's so good. Line. He's so good as Wayne. In terms of just like being brash and over the top, but also a fucking dumbass. Like, I love it.
I think I should go to the hospital.
and I love the look that he shares with Reese because both of them kind of know like what's the go,
Yeah.
What happens to Reese after this? I just love.
I don't know, and I think actually I remember reading something about that, but I can't remember what the outcome was. But I don't think he's in Gotham anymore. I can tell you that much. I'd get the fuck out of Dodge.
He's in Metropolis right now.
Yeah, right.
You need to turn to the only other person who could protect you from the Batman.
Right. Even then, there's a 50-50 shot.
Right. The Joker blows up the hospital. A real explosion. A real building that was set for demolition. The only thing that's actually CG here are the windows. because it was kind of like already sort of decrepit, I believe. Or like,
oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
yeah, they'd already started removing the windows for demolition, I believe. This, I don't know if this is movie myth. Maybe someone can send us a message, but apparently the explosion was not supposed to stall, and his
I've heard
reaction was improvised. I don't know about that, but I can tell you that my favorite part of this moment is him just going and just like pressing the button. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Well, that like the whole when it goes off, he's so fucking surprised. And I feel like maybe that might be a happy accident, but like, that also would scare the shit out of me to have like a stalled explosive that big.
Yeah,
it's like, oh shit, guys, can we fucking be professionals here? Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a huge explosion. The overhead helicopter shot of the building blowing up and just falling into itself. I love the ambulance there for scale. Like, you know what I mean? Like that one. There's one ambulance on the street. As we get that overhead shot of the helicopter just kind of like looking at the building, and that really sets the stage for just how big this explosion is. So it turns out the Joker, there's a busload of patients missing. The Dent's missing as well, which is important. Anybody else, we got him out, get the mayor's office on the line. This is, we're going to need the National Guard. This is everything now pretty much kind of like coming to a head, right? This is the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
The Joker's not plan, but like the Joker's actions coming to a head, and it feels like we are barreling towards the climax of the movie.
Right, yeah, and I don't know if we're quite there, but when he's got Anthony Michael Hall hanging upside down,
Mike
and
Angle,
reading off the news, that's what it was definitely. Do what?
Oh, we are there. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, when he's talking to him, and he's like, anybody who doesn't want to be in the game, get out now. It's like, oh shit, that's gnarly.
I love him leaving the little clue. Well, not little clue, but the little warning. Oh, and the tunnel and bridge crew are sure in for a surprise. So it's like, what the fuck? We're supposed to take the goddamn ferries. God damn it. Yeah. This movie rules, man. I don't know. Every time I watch this movie, favorite of all time. Lucius Fox discovers what are we going to call this? Let's call it the Patriot Act.
Yeah, right. Let's call it America.
Yeah, well, I mean, definitely there were, I guess, parallels to that when this movie came out, right? So, like, obviously, if we are supposed to take what the Joker is doing as terrorism, which he kind of is. I mean, this fits the actions of terrorism and the definition. Then, the response being, let's monitor, Americans' communications, and in an attempt to locate and track the terrorist. It's pretty clear cut, right? It's pretty clear cut commentary.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to, I don't know, because it is what is the message of this? Is what I'm trying to. Are they saying this stuff is bad, but it's okay to use it in like worst case scenarios as long as you destroy it afterwards? Like, I don't really get what the message is they're trying to say here.
I'm glad you said that, because I think I definitely had to think about it as well, especially this watch around, because like it is easy to say that, oh, the Dark Knight has these themes of terrorism and the Patriot Act, but ultimately you kind of need to bring it around and be like, what does it say about those things? You can't just say that it is about those things. So like, I think ultimately it's brought back to the character of Batman, right? So like, I think ultimately what they say is, yes, we do utilize this surveillance technology to locate the Joker, and ultimately that's the only reason we used it. Like, we don't use it for anything else. We just used it just to locate this one bad guy, and that's the way we should use it. I think it's kind of like a sort of like a look at, this is what we should be doing and not what we are doing. And, also like bolstering the character of Lucius Fox, right? Lucius here is so very outspoken about this. He's like, you're going to have my resignation when this is all done.
Right.
And he's ultimately rewarded for his faith in Bruce, right? Because Bruce kind of like had it rigged up to be destroyed anyway, right? Because he says, "Put your name in when you're done."
Yeah, basically, yeah. Showing him, it's like, just have a little faith in me that this is not something that I plan on using again.
Yeah. And then Two-Face kind of like starts going on this like killing spree, right? This moment with Wirtz in the bar. This was one of the first things. Well, this was the first time we saw the Two-Face, his makeup, right?
Mm-hmm.
We never. This is the first trailer, I think, or something like that. When Wirtz says, "I thought you was dead." Half. I love that line, man.
Oh,
it's so good.
It's good.
Also, he's wearing his the same suit that he wore the night that it was burnt, because the suit's burnt, half burnt as well.
Oh, that's fucking cool. Yeah, I'm watching the scene with him in the cab. I see that shoulder. That's cool.
Yes. Okay, so that scene in the cab, do you mean with Maroni? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when we cut to that scene, okay, so it's a wide shot of Maroni talking to his guy, and he's getting in the car. Look on the far left, you can see Dent knocking out his friend, and I never noticed that before.
Yeah, if you look in the passenger side rear view, you can see him actually get into the car. And it's like as the camera's pulling over, the guy just kind of like awkwardly drops.
Yeah.
And then once they're actually getting in, you can see him get in right when Maroni gets in.
I'd never seen that before. Even just now when you pointed out the review, I'd never seen that before. Like
I think I saw that in like a Watch Mojo video or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's like, don't stop for lights, cops, nothing. This is great, by the way. I love that, like, Maroni's, the coin is in Maroni's favor. And then, he's not so lucky. Who? Your driver.
Well, I want to see what happens if the driver is lucky and he actually lives and he's like,
can you just let me out here? Because,
Yeah. Can you tell him to pull over? And it's like now he's got to walk down the street with like a half melted face. There's like birds pecking at it and shit.
Oh shit! Yeah, this crash is gnarly as well. Pretty gnarly car crash.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And I'm surprised he just like walks away from this.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's comic book shit. So, the ferries, the two ferries. This is. I've warmed up to this portion of the movie. I think, initially I was like, this feels a little anticlimactic, but like, obviously, the more time that's passed with it, I've now come to realize what this moment is really about and what this movie is really saying about humanity and the Joker, and the fact that the Joker really wants to rely on the worst parts of human nature. But that's not always the case. Like, humans aren't always all bad. That's what it's saying, I believe. Like, there's this whole element of like, Joker underestimated or overestimated the fact that people would want to kill people if their lives are in danger. And I think ultimately the movie's saying that that's not really the case. What do you think about this?
So basically, that when push comes to shove, they won't eat each other.
Right. That's the line that I'm thinking of. So that's the line that really informs this scene. Right. When the chips are down, these people will eat each other, and that's not the case. These people, it takes more. It's more grueling to take a life than save yourself. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah, and I do think it's interesting that neither of them, because Gotham kind of too as a character, this is some of the most we see of Gotham, the city and its citizens, and I do think it's interesting that you actually have a few different opinions. Who people who consider doing it, people who don't, blah blah blah, but ultimately the decision is actually like Joker and Batman may fight for the soul of Gotham or whatever, but eventually they also have to make some kind of choice and be like, no, we're not doing that, and like we're not giving into that, even if it means we all die. To me that's really interesting, because it's kind of like them showing like they're willing to sacrifice themselves, in the face of a threat.
Yeah.
If basically instead of giving in and killing each other, it's like, no, we'd rather die than do that. That means you've won.
No, absolutely. It's the best parts of human nature, and people talk about how dark and gritty the Dark Knight is, but in reality, I mean, this is the moral of the story, and it's not that dark. It's actually kind of hopeful. If you listen to our bonus episode that we just recorded on the Batman, I talked about how I really enjoyed the overall plot line of that movie and where it ends up and where Batman ends up. And I think this kind of does the same in its own way, except it's not Batman who ends up being the hopeful one. It's Gotham who ends up being the more hopeful one, which might be
right. Yeah.
which might be healing in the long run for Gotham. So yeah, I really appreciate that. Tiny Lister, rest in peace, man.
Wait, who?
The big guy who doesn't turn the key for the prisoners, throws it out the window.
Oh, yeah, Debo from Friday. Sorry.
Yeah. What Mike?
The president in Fifth Element. I forgot about that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Give it to me, and I've done what you should have done 10 minutes ago.
He's so good. He's so good, dude.
Yeah, fucking take it, dude. Go for it. I'm not going to fight you.
Apparently, they don't do pre-boarding sweeps on these ferries because the entire basement is full of drums, oil drums. So
yeah, right. Nobody went down there to be like, oh, by the way, can we fit any more people? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's usually 50 to 80 drums down there.
I love the overhead shot of just the ferries losing the power, just kind of stopping in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of the harbor.
Like going dark.
Yeah, but we can kind of take this as a broad scene. So we'll talk about the Two-Face stuff separately. We've already talked about the ferry stuff. Let's talk about the Batman kind of assaulting this building to find the Joker. So essentially, they use the sonar imaging technology to locate the Joker because he's near a cell phone. Batman tracks him to this building. It's under construction. The police set up opposite outside. They're all targeting the windows. In a very Joker-esque move, swapping the doctors for criminals, right? I mean, switching the roles is really awesome. I really dig that. But yeah, so what was the plan here though with these doctors and patients?
I mean, I guess is it just cannon fodder? Is it just something to slow him down from reaching the Joker? Because at this point, the Joker, because he can't get the citizens to turn, like he says, his ace in the hole is Harvey. So I guess had these people turned on each other and blown each other up, that would be icing on the cake. But the cake is already baked. Right.
Yeah, this is Plan B. Right, you're here for. I've just been distracting you this entire time.
Right. Yeah. I by holding you and Gordon here, I've been letting Two-Face go do whatever he wants. But it's not my favorite kind of action scene in the world. I do think it's kind of cool, especially when Joker runs up when he's got those that
terrifying.
That scared the shit out of me in the theater. That scared me to death.
I do like Batman fighting the SWAT though, like him kind of having to prevent the SWAT teams from murdering innocent patients,
and he's grappling them up with that, and shooting them up in the air with the grappling hook. And
they all
stuff.
fly out the side. They're all kind of tied up. One of my favorite shots is that overhead shot of the SWAT team rappelling down from the building from the roof, and you get get Hans's score just kind of crescendoing. It's awesome. But yeah, let's talk about the Joker and Batman here. So Batman ultimately uses his, gauntlet knives things, right?
Yeah. This is the weapon he defeats every villain with in this trilogy.
Does he?
Yeah, he does the, he does that to Ra's al Ghul, and then he does it to, you want to know how I got these scars? I know you got these. And then at the end, he slices Bane's mask open with the ends of them.
Huh. There you go.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, you kind of forget that they're even there,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, if that guy turned around and just started slashing the right way, he'd fuck some shit up, you know?
I love how disappointed the Joker looks when the fairies don't blow up.
Yeah, that's great. Just the final, like the realization of like, fuck,
Yeah.
like this really is not the one time something did not go according to his plan.
But in a very
Damn,
Joker
that's cool.
fashion, he's like, no worries, I can just do this myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I love like him being hoisted upside down this entire time. Now, when I first watched this, I was like, oh, Batman should have just let him fall. But I'm just like, no, I mean, you'd be killing the Joker essentially. And like that's the Joker and the Batman's relationship, right? Like that throughout the entire comic book run, outside of the Killing Joke, these two never kill each other, and that's what the Batman says. The Joker says here. I just can't kill you because you're just too much fun. Like, you know what I mean? It's good stuff. It's really harkens to the comics, this whole moment. But I'm an immovable object. You're an unstoppable force. We're destined to do this forever. And man, like, is it a bummer that it had to end? You know what I mean? Is it a bummer that, Heath passed away? We never got to see any more of this because I would have paid through the nose to see more of this,
Well, yeah, and I remember reading something about what their idea was for The Dark Knight Rises when Heath was still alive, and I remember seeing like artwork of him in a jumpsuit in court, basically. Like, and I think that he might have been the one to hit Harvey in the face with the acid. I think they tossed around that idea at one point. I might be like totally talking out of my ass, but that's from what I remember. But this whole scene is super Batman 89. Letting him fall from the top of that tower and stuff. It's super 89.
No, totally. And then the Joker talks about his ace in the hole, right? Harvey Dent. I took Gotham's White Knight and I brought him down to our level. All it took was a little push. I love that, dude. Like him doing the push, and that's the last we see of him. The SWAT advance on him, and there he is, just hanging there, just laughing. Oh, it's so good. What a performance! I can't. People talk about this movie all the time. People talk about this performance, but it's not until you actually talk about it and really dissect it that you realize just how perfect it is.
Yeah, I get so strung up in the scenes with Two-Face, like after this.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
now. I've got it pulled up, and God, just the parts where Gordon is like, God damn it, stop pointing that gun at my family. It's like, that's fucking awesome, dude. And this is where you really get to see, like, not Commissioner Gordon, but like this is Jim. Like this is just the man. Like I love that.
No, this is a fantastic scene, man. This is one of the best scenes in the entire movie. I think not enough people talk about this scene enough. I think it's up there with the interrogation scene as my favorite, because this is really Aaron Eckhart and Gary Oldman's time to shine. This is such a outstanding scene, dude. Like, have you ever told them that it's going to be all right when it's not? Well, you're about to know what it feels like, Gordon. And it's just, it's so... It goes on for a while, and you're just like, holy shit, what the fuck's about to happen? And then Batman just shows up.
Well, yeah,
and he gets shot in the abdomen.
Well, that and the dialogue that Harvey has is not, it's kind of makes sense. He's like, it's not about what I want. It's about what's fair.
Mm-hmm.
We try to be decent men in an indecent time. It's I love. He's like, he's like, it's fair, just 100% clean, perfect, like, equal. And he's like, basically, you guys can talk all you want, but you didn't lose anything, which he doesn't know, right. Obviously with Bruce and with her, but the fact that he thinks he's the only one who's lost anything.
Yeah, when he says, why was it me who was the only one who lost everything? It kind of is heartbreaking. The Joker chose me. It's so
right.
good.
Yeah, you were the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah. But yeah, Batman tackles him off the roof, and down goes Harvey, man.
Man, I was kind of surprised that killed him. I really thought he was just like, going to get up and run away, and that would be the end of the movie. You know, it'd pick back up later. And when he died, I was like, oh, wow, they really just killed him off. That's interesting. Because it's like, I really doubt they're going to use the Joker again. You know, at the time, I was like, you know, I don't know. I couldn't see them doing another one with the Joker. But I really thought they were going to use Two-Face again, at least overlap until, you know, the third movie. But no, not at all.
What I like about this movie is that, you know what? It's kind of like a double-edged sword, because I like here that Two-Face kind of gets killed off unceremoniously. But like, obviously it's got a bigger meaning in the story moving forward. But at the same time, I hate the death of Bane in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. Oh,
like, you know what I mean?
That's
like,
so anticlimactic.
He's also killed off very unceremoniously. But that doesn't really do anything for the story. You know what I mean? Whereas here, it's a little like, you know, he's dead. I'm going to take the fall for it. I'm going to be like what everyone's been, what Rachel and Alfred have been urging me to be. I'm going to be the sacrificial lamb. You guys are going to have to hunt. You guys are going to have to chase me. I'll be the villain for now. And Harvey's reputation will remain untarnished.
Mm-hmm. Right. You know, and that's totally, that's the definition of a hero. Right. You know, it's not the one you...
and that's how he beat the Joker.
Right. But what is the line? It's not the one that we need, but the one that we deserve or something?
I can't remember not the one that we deserve, but the one that we need right now.
Okay, gotcha. So it's like, yeah, he's not perfect, but it'll do, you know, kind of thing. And I think, yeah, it's really, again, it shows with Batman's just ability to just like adapt and just absorb. Like if I can just absorb, and it's almost like Sebastian Shaw in X-Men First Class, he just absorbs that power. And it's like, if Batman can contain this, if I can just contain this, then you know, it'll all be worth it, even at the expense of my persona. Yeah. I think that's really good. That's what a hero is.
I think this ending is absolutely incredible. Like, I love, you know, the montage of, you know, Lucius Fox destroying the machine, walking away, Alfred burning the envelope, you know, Gordon giving the eulogy at Dent's funeral, and Batman. Oh, dude, when we come back to Batman and you get the drums, dun, dun, dun. I was like, oh, fucking love it, man. And the dog's chasing him. He takes the bat pod, goes up that ramp, which is another amazing shot. The last shot is amazing in this movie. Like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Headed towards the light. It's awesome. Yeah, man, this is a fantastic ending to a fantastic movie. That sets up so much. You know, like that sets up so much promise moving forward. And I think The Dark Knight Rises definitely delivers on the Dent Act stuff. I think there are some other issues in that movie, but the Dent Act is not one of them. The way that Bane brings down that whole establishment is actually pretty fantastic. So I think this ending, the way this movie ends and the way that movie kind of continues it, is really a fantastic through line. So, yeah, that's The Dark Knight, man. Holy shit, we fucking made it. Woo!
Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, man. This movie's so good. This movie's so good. I don't know. I don't know. This one had me nervous for a very long time, I think. And what better time to talk about Batman than right now? You know, he's kind of going through like a little bit of a, you know, renaissance.
Right. Yeah. I still think about this ending because I'd never really seen anything like this before, and it kind of confused me when he got up and he goes, "I killed those men." I was like, "Wait, did I miss something?" And I was like, "Oh, he not literally." Okay, never mind. Like it took me a minute. Like they're just going to pin everything on Batman, which, you know, I don't know. Maybe if you went over that with a fine tooth comb, might not make any sense. It's like, oh, so Batman showed up in broad daylight and shot a cop in a bar. In full costume, like what the fuck, you know, just like just stupid. You know, it's like Batman shot a bunch of people. Okay, cool. But I just, God, the final shots of him running and like limping to the bike, like all fucked up. It's like, man, that's good. I love battle damage, like characters, you know.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan doesn't miss, man. This movie,
Well, I don't know about that.
no, hey, fuck you. This movie.
Hey, there's a movie after this that I would say might be a bit of a miss.
What did he do after this? Oh, he did Inception after this, dude. Fuck off.
No, talk about Dark Knight Rises.
I wouldn't call it a miss. I'd call it. I don't know.
I wouldn't. Well, would you call it a hit?
I'd call it satisfactory.
If it's not a hit, then guess what that makes it?
You know, you can hit the outside edge of the dartboard. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go. You hit the board.
Let me read. So we got two pretty solid comments. I'm going to go ahead and read Carlos's one because it's pretty awesome. So,
okay.
Thank you for commenting, Carlos. He says, living in Chicago, I remember the summer of 07 fondly. The train lines would be closed on random days. The South Loop, which is usually a ghost town by 6 p.m., was full of crews and equipment working all night. Morgan Freeman was shooting 2 comic book films here, The Dark Knight and Wanted. Oh, Wanted. God damn it. Forget about that movie.
Mm-hmm.
The rumors were coming out about Ledger's Joker. Quote, it's scary. Quote, it's completely unlike anything you've ever seen. I checked the movie's website and IMDb daily for any new information about it. The viral marketing for this movie was so much fun. One night in 2008, I had tickets to see an early screening of Hellboy 2 at a downtown theater. That same night was a viral marketing event for Dark Knight going on a few blocks away. I saw the movie and ran out to get to the event, a scavenger hunt downtown. The idea was we were members of an activist group called the Citizens for Batman, and we were there to show our support for him. They handed out editions of the Gotham Gazette with articles about Harvey Dent, and we ran around the South Loop until we got the final clue telling us to look up. There was a countdown, and when it ended, the bat signal... Hold on. There was a countdown, and when it ended, the bat signal was turned on, displaying the bat symbol on a building across the street. I still have the shirt. It no longer fits. When the movie came out, I was working at Starbucks. I had a 6 a.m. shift the day after the midnight release. I closed the store, getting out around 11, then ran to the theater about 6 or 8 blocks away, watched the movie, picked up the scattered pieces of my blown mind, and went back to the Starbucks where I hung out until my shift started. I watched this movie in theaters 5 times over the next 7 or 8 weeks. I couldn't get enough of it. When I met Chris Schrader, friend of the show, a year later, it was the first thing we bonded on, namely our mutual deepest secret that every time we watched it, it got a little worse. We also both independently came to the conclusion that Joseph Gordon-Levitt could play the Joker in the third one. Today, the movie is hard for me to sit through. There's simply no more meat to pick off the bone. Ultimately, the legacy of this film is twofold. The Dark Knight undoubtedly elevated the superhero genre to heights that, frankly, no other superhero film has quite hit. On the other hand, this movie is single-handedly responsible for Hollywood's incessant need to make everything gritty or grounded or a serious take on X. It's the reason comic book movie fans insist their favorite outing be nominated for Best Picture, when in reality, no comic book movie has ever been that. Let's be honest. We'll talk about this. I'm going to finish the comment first. The movie also maybe doesn't quite hold up when you think about the plot for more than a couple seconds. Listen, I've seen the thing 30 times and still can't tell you exactly what Bruce is doing in that apartment of kidnapped police.
Wait, which apartment? The one with the
one with the naked guys.
I thought he just went there because that's where the address was.
I thought that too. Well, I mean, like who
cares?
That was the address of the person who he found the thumbprint off the bullet, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, but it was a trap, right? I mean,
I believe so. I don't know. It's been a long night.
Yes, it has. A lot of stuff happens off screen that gets covered in 80-yard lines, such that I think Nolan sort of loses his plot a little bit. As with all the Nolan Batman movies, the politics of this one are at best muddy and at worst problematic. Quote, illegally surveilling people's phone is wrong, unless it's because we're looking for a terrorist, was the credo of the Bush administration after 9/11. This film was very much a product of that time, but it appears to agree with that credo. Overall, this movie will always be special, if only for Ledger's incredible performance. And then he posts a picture of his Citizens for Batman t-shirt. That's pretty cool, actually. Um, I don't know if I fully agree. I don't think that. Yes, I think there's definitely a lot of people out there who say, this movie deserves Best Picture, that movie deserves Best Picture, whatever. I don't. I think the latest example was Spider-Man: No Way Home. I don't think that movie deserves Best Picture. I think it's awesome. I think it's fantastic. But I think a movie like, I mean, we forget The Dark Knight. Back when this movie came out that year, there was only 5 movies that were nominated for Best Picture, and then the year after that, because of backlash, because The Dark Knight didn't get nominated for Best Picture, the Academy upped it to 10 nominations. And since then, we've been using 10. So this movie kind of changed the game in terms of like the maximum number of nominations for Best Picture. And I think this movie should be nominated for Best Picture. I think possibly Logan. I think possibly Endgame.
Yeah, Logan's fucking great.
I think possibly Endgame.
Endgame,
only because
I mean, it's
only because of like what it kind of did in terms of like just wrapping things up. But like, I mean, like, I don't think it's got a serious shot. I think it's got more of a shot at Black Panther, which was nominated as well. But you know, this and that.
Yeah, didn't that win?
Black Panther? No.
Yeah.
It won.
Oh, never mind.
It won a few awards. Definitely didn't win Best Picture. Yeah, we were talking about the surveilling people's phone is wrong thing, and the way I rationalize it is, this is the situation we should be using it for, like, you know, like just to find the terrorist, and that's it. But whatever, like, you know, like I think
right.
I know that there's a lot of conspiracy out there, or, you know, evidence or whatever. I don't know. I haven't done too much like research into it, but I think there are calls, or there is some knowledge out there that the NSA or the CIA do use monitoring devices to monitor everyday citizens, outside the remit of like when they were supposed to, like what they're supposed to be using for, outside the scope of that. So I think what the movie is ultimately saying is, this is, hey, just a reminder, this is what we should be using it for, and then that's it. Like, you know, but I mean, look, when we talk about commentary, it's not commenting that hard on it, right? I don't think this movie has a obligation to comment on that that hard. That makes sense. So I don't know. I think it's it's a pretty cool idea of, like, you know, a rich billionaire using his technology to find someone, to be driven to the point of, this is what we must now do because we have no other option.
Right. Yeah. Like, I feel like if there was another option, you know, if it's that, or, you know, if it's that, or you let this city fall, it's like, man, you know, I'm sorry, I got to do it. You know, if somebody pushes you to that point, you know, yeah, if somebody's like, hey, you either let the NSA do your phone, or some guy's got a nuke and they can't find it, be like, yeah, fucking go for it, man. Like, you know, if it comes down between die or don't do it, then I guess I'll fucking do it. But, you know, at the same time, like, you know, if it's not a life or death situation, don't be doing that shit.
Right. Exactly.
You don't know what I'm doing on that phone?
Yeah. There you go. And it's a British director commenting on this. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah. Let me read Jose's comment. Jose Rivera. I love Batman Begins, aside from the fact they pronounced, I'm going to say that wrong. Is it Ra's al Ghul?
I believe
or Ra's al Ghul?
So in the movie they pronounce it Ra's al Ghul, but it's supposed to be pronounced Ra's al Ghul.
Ra's al Ghul. You know, I think I said Ra's al Ghul at the beginning of our intro, which is hilarious. Let me see. I love Batman Begins, aside from the fact they pronounced a Ra's al Ghul wrong, and couldn't wait for the next one. I was curious about Ledger as the Joker, but I was really looking forward to Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent / Two-Face, because that's one of my favorite characters, and I wasn't thrilled with Tommy Lee Jones's performance in Batman Forever. Not only did I get an incredible Two-Face, but I got a really good crime movie disguised as a Batman movie. The crowd I went with was silent for most of the film. Normally, that's a sign it's not going well, but in this case, they were invested. They didn't say anything until the film was over, and when it was, I got a standing ovation. In my opinion, it was well deserved. I'm sure you'll do this movie justice. There's so much to talk about and dissect that I know it'll be a great episode. Thank you, Jose. Thank you very much, buddy.
Thank you for having some ill-fated faith, ill-placed faith in us.
Sucker.
Yeah, we hope the last 3 hours of your time was not a total waste. This was fun though. I had a lot of fun doing this. This was always going to be a big episode, very much like our Heat episode. I think The Dark Knight was always kind of like that movie on that list, and we hope we did it justice because we're never talking about Batman again. I'm kidding.
Yeah, right.
I'm kidding.
This is it. This is the one we do every 4 years.
Right, exactly. You want to close this out, Colin?
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed this movie a lot. It's very good. I'm glad we finally covered it as well. If you guys want to find any more of our stuff, you can always check us out at midnightdoublefeature.com. Our Patreon is patreon.com/midnightdoublefeature. Stop by, rate, review us on iTunes. It helps out the show so much. And consider joining our Patreon. It's only $5 a month. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed recording it. If this is your first time listening, hang out, check out some more of our other episodes. We've got some more coming, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.